a really nice thing has happened with Parks and Recreation, which was always a great show. Something happened where, and I think it's a nice part of this world we live in, where people have access to these shows. It used to be when a show was over, it would slip beneath the waves and that was it. And sometimes a show occasionally would be shown in reruns and become popular. But Parks and Recreation has just bloomed really in such a lovely way because, few people know, and I think a lot of young people today wouldn't know that Parks and Recreation was kind of on the bubble a bit at NBC.
The whole time, not even a bit. Every single season, we were like, this is it. They're not going to want us back. At one point, we were canceled, and then the president of NBC got off the plane and changed his mind. Was like, don't cancel it yet, I guess.
Yeah.
It wasn't really it wasn't a thing at all. Like, I think the critics really championed it, and there was a couple, like Alan Siepenwall was like our guy. He was like right from the beginning very generous and nice about the show. But no, it was like ratings. Remember when you used to look at ratings every morning, like the overnights?
Yeah.
And like the weekly ratings and your Nielsen and your share and all this stuff. Like, we never succeeded there. Like, there was like, we'd kind of get something a little better. We'd get a bump from like some other show in front of us or something. But the whole time we were just kind of like holding on for dear life, like hoping we got to do more, which is probably part of why it was so good,
right?
Because there was no like stardom. It wasn't infiltrated by any outside feelings about us. Like, people kind of liked us if they knew who we were, and besides that, we just like had fun together. And it's nice, the rewriting, but I'm like, but I need people to understand, because I think it's sort of like, it's kind of iconic now. It's like one of those like great comedies of that time, which is so awesome. But we didn't feel that way. And actually, like, I think it was 5 years ago, we went to the Dolby and we did a 10th anniversary thing where we all came out, the whole cast, and the reception was I felt like the Beatles. Like, it was so nuts. People were screaming so loud. We were all crying because we had never been in a room where anybody cared. Like, we were there as a crew, you know what I mean? Like, together. It was so wild.
I saw that happen once because I know that you were a comedy nerd for things like SCTV.
Yes.
And SNL. And when you were growing up, SCTV was, a huge influence on me. This show made in Toronto, and actually, was it made in Toronto or outside Toronto? Anyway, not important, Conan. But Catherine O'Hara and John Candy and Marty Short and Eugene Levy and Joe Flaherty, and the list goes on and on and on. These amazing performers, and they did such a smart sketch show that in so many ways was so much more. It had all these levels that SNL could never have. SNL was great, but then there was this show that could get to all these different levels. So they did a reunion, and I'm a huge SCTV fanatic, so they asked me to do it. And this is back in the 90s, and they asked me to go to Aspen, and so I'm there with all these people that I had never met before. And I go out on stage with them, and I start interviewing them, and we start showing clips. And there's this giant crowd there that's just exploding with laughter. And they're all looking at each other and they said, we've never seen people laugh at this. Because they made it. It was a show that didn't have a studio audience. They made it. They constructed it.
Right.
And then they put it on TV.
Right.
And there are all these people that revered it, but I don't think they knew that.
Right.
So they had that same feeling. And it was just, I think,
also
I don't
crying.
tear up easy, but I was very emotional that they were having what they should have had, at the beginning.
Totally. But sometimes, great things take a while to discover. Yes. And I have to have faith in that because, in this weird business, we make things and people don't care, or there's too much on TV, or, nobody's seen it. And then somebody says to you, like in a mall somewhere 15 years later, that thing changed my life. And that's kind of, that's the reason to do it, you know?
Yep. I always try and boil it down to make stuff that you like and put it out there. And then sometimes you get a ping back. Sometimes you hear nothing. Sometimes you get something back, but it's 15 years later.
Yeah.
but that's not our job.
Right.
This is the Buddhist side of me now.
Yes.
Our job is just to like
put it out there
and then see what happens.
Yeah. And then hopefully somebody loves you for it one day.
Yeah, we'll see. But really, it's about the money.
Yeah.
Oh.
Monetize it.
It's good you went into podcasting.
Well, I'm sorry. Actually, yeah. No, to me, it's about money and more specifically real estate.
Oh, God.
Because real estate can always be converted into cash.
You know you have a guest to talk to, right?
Who's here?
Rashida Jones.
Oh, shit, I love her. She's fantastic.
Just turn
Rashida.
15 degrees.
Oh, Rashida. So you have property, right? You're putting some of it into property.
If I don't, do I have to leave?
This show eventually gets to
it.
property. It would be great if this podcast morphed into, we start talking about creative stuff and then it always got back to, what land do you have? Are you renting it?
I see your Zillow page.
Flipping property.
Yeah. Florida, not a good idea.
Taxes low though. No
very
taxes.
Very good.
What's happening?
It is.
Yeah.
It was a joke and then it wasn't.
You've always you said something in some interview that I really connected with, which is you always sought out funny people, comedy writers, people that you could riff with. And I always thought, yeah, I understand that. It's someone else might say, who was cynical, might say, oh, you're networking. It's like, no, I just, it's such a gift to be around, surround yourself with really funny people.
Yeah.
And just make that your life, make that your environment.
Well, also because it makes you feel funny.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a little selfish too.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, it didn't not help. I mean, it was good to know, my comedy friends in college, this feeling like they understand you in a way that maybe when you go in for an audition, just randomly, no, they're not going to really understand the depth of what you're able to do. But if you have a friend who's a writer, who's on the other side of it, i.e. Mike Schur, who,
Mm-hmm.
I was friends with since freshman year,
Mm-hmm.
he can, although he made it really hard to get both parts on The Office and Parks and Rec. I wish I didn't have a friend on the inside.
He made it harder.
He made it harder. He's like fair guy. He's so fair. He might have show about being, The Good Place is about fair,
Yes, and also
right and wrong.
he wrote a whole book on ethics.
That's what I'm saying.
And-
He's been that guy forever.
Yeah,
So
Mike,
fair.
knock it off.
He's so
Okay.
just.
Yeah.
Yes.
Stop it.
Yeah, stop being so ethical.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does kind of wear it on his sleeve a little bit.
What's he hiding?
What's he
Exactly.
hiding? What's he hiding?
Yeah,
Where's
he's
the
the kind of
bodies,
guy
Mike?
who's like, well, let's make sure everyone gets an equal slice of pie.
Ugh.
And my attitude is, I've been on TV the longest.
I have the most property.
Yeah, I have the most
Give
property.
me the pizza.
I should get half the pie. Or, hey, maybe all the pie, and you guys can go fuck yourselves.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Rashida.
I'm glad you weren't my boss.
Trust.
Mike's the best. Mike's the best.
He's great.
He is
Yes, we're
really
doing
the
a
best.
we're doing a fun.
We're doing a bit. We're doing a
little
Because he
bit.
said he listens to this podcast.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
Yeah, make sure you're a monster.
I love you.
Pretend
I
to be
love you
ethical.
so much. Oh, look, sure. The mics say sure.
Oh, wow.
Well,
He's
that's
here
just,
with us.
yeah.
Sorry,
Well,
promo for
Is
the
that-
mics.
Oh.
Sure. It's
They
not
do
spelled
say
like that,
sure.
but they say sure. But
Yeah.
anyway, the point is he, for the most part, did not give me parts. I wish he did. But I think he saw the thing in me that he knows has existed since I was 18 years old. So it's not just about what I'm doing on that day as an audition. Like he can kind of understand the fullness of me in a way that I think is like nice, and it does help. It did help me. But yes, I like to be surrounded by funny people. I often play the straight guy. That's okay. I don't mind.
Well,
I like it.
It's interesting in the history of show business. I'll say the straight man, because that's what he was called for a long time in vaudeville and in the movies. The straight man was actually considered much more important because they held the straight person. So their names always came first. It was Abbott and Costello.
Wow.
It was Martin and Lewis. It was, it just, the straight person really was the person who was in charge of the whole act and made it all work because of their reactions. And then the wacky person was often less valued.
Right.
So
Interesting.
it's
Things
to
have
me-
changed.
to me, it's huge though, how much being a good straight person is absolutely crucial.
You have to have an anchor.
Yes.
If not, it's just a bunch of people jumping off the walls. Yeah. And also, by the way, I don't even Like, I think Parks had some combination of like goofy and straight the whole time.
Well, everyone could switch
Everybody
off.
got to be all of it. It was the nice thing about it. Eventually, after 6 years too, like maybe year 1, I was like straight. But by year 4, I was like pretty goofy.
You had this interesting experience, like, because you're growing up and obviously your dad, Quincy Jones, this powerhouse in the music industry, legendary person. And then your mom had been this, incredibly iconic figure who then stepped out and said, yeah, I'm stepping away from this world.
Yeah.
Very consciously.
Yeah.
And were you aware that like, I'm just what my mom was doing before, when you were...
We knew for sure.
Because you're too young to have been watching Mod Squad.
No, we were not around. And we knew that she had this like big thing, but I think she just, I think she was really young and she was really famous really fast. And there was 3 networks and everybody watched the Mod Squad, so everybody knew who she was.
Yeah.
And my mom was kind of shy, so I think it just did not suit her. She was like, no, whoa, no. And then when she fell in love with my dad, I think it like contextualized her life in a way where she was like, oh, this is what I want. It's like a family and a home, and and good friends, and to keep things small like this. She wasn't that person who was like seeking everybody else's approval and attention all the time,
And then I wouldn't know what that's like.
No, I know. That's why I'm explaining it to you.
So she didn't want
She didn't have a travel show. No. She did not go visit fans at their houses.
Nah, I don't buy it. She was playing some kind of long con. Definitely, this was just a way to draw us in more. That's hilarious. She, because then I know I remember when she came to Twin Peaks, and it was like a huge deal.
Yeah, because she
Peggy
came
Lipton
back.
came back.
She came
and she
back.
was amazing.
Yeah.
Looked just, incredible.
Yeah.
And she was back. And I don't know where you would have been at that point. You still would have been a kid.
I was in high school. I was just thinking the other day, actually, because I was looking at my graduation pictures, and she was my age when I was graduating high school and when she was doing Twin Peaks.
Yep.
Which I'm like, because she looked so young, and I remember her being so young, and I'm like, but why don't I feel as young as the way I perceived her to be? She probably didn't. She probably felt tired, just like me. But yeah, it's like, it's mind blowing to think that that's where she was in her life, and she had 2 teenage kids and was like, let me go back to this thing, Anyway, everybody makes life choices, and then you end up sort of in the same place, I guess.
Yeah. I was, it's funny because I was just thinking right now when we mentioned Twin Peaks that what I remember, because I was in my 20s, I think I was working on Saturday Night Live when Twin Peaks came out. TV was a certain way. Like you said, there were 3 networks. Maybe at that point, the 4th was just starting up, Fox, but really there wasn't much, and TV was very much a certain thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember turning on the TV and watching with my girlfriend at the time, Twin Peaks. And I cannot explain to any young person today, because we're constantly being bombarded with edgy, cool television on all the streaming platforms and everything. But this show came on that was unlike anything you had ever seen before. And when the pilot episode ended, everybody's face fell off who was watching it.
It was nuts.
And it was just an obsession. And then I remembered I was working at SNL. Kyle MacLachlan came on, and they did a sketch about Twin Peaks.
I remember.
And they needed a guard to be holding Chris Farley in the background. So they always did this for some reason. I look like a guy who should be doing something on television, but no one knew what the fuck what. So Lauren or Jim Downey was always saying, just put the costume on Conan and just have him. So I'm standing there. I don't think I even have a line. I'm just holding on to Chris Farley in the background of this Twin Peaks sketch. But it changed everything.
Yeah.
I find time and time again, it's very hard in the current day to tell people what it was like. TV was a certain thing, and then this show came, and you saw what a TV show could be.
Yeah.
How weird it could be.
It was so weird. It was so original.
It's
I was
scary,
obsessed.
Too.
It was so scary. This is probably not appropriate for a teenager in high school, but I was so scared of Bob. I would check my bed every night. My mom is on the show. I know it's fake. And I saw him. I remember going to set and seeing him walk by on set, and like it felt like everything slowed down when he walked by.
Right.
And then eventually, by the way, in my 20s, when I went to the premiere of the movie Fire Walk with Me, I saw Bob, still don't know his real name, something Silva. I went to go introduce myself because I was like, this is ridiculous. I'm an adult. I need to get over it. And he was so nice.
And he said, I was under your bed.
I am a murderer.
By the way, I was under there.
You were right to be scared.
I didn't do anything, but I was under there.
He was a set dresser. He was a set dresser for Twin Peaks, and David Lynch saw him on camera. Was like, there we go.
There's
That's
our guy.
Bob.
There's the guy.
Yeah, but what I was going to say is, kids now maybe they don't understand, but I think they do. Like kids now give Twin Peaks its flowers, or whatever, however they say it. They really love Twin Peaks because there still isn't really anything like it. It's so authentically weirdo.
Yes.
In a way that like people try to manufacture now, but it's like it's David Lynch.
Yes.
TV, which is not like any.
And when
other
he
TV.
did it, there was just nothing like it.
No.
And I remember just being electrified. You'd wait for the next, and you had to wait.
Yeah.
You had to wait. I mean, I know there are still shows where you have to wait, but this was quite uncommon at the time.
Yeah.
And all of us, it's all any of us thought about. I was living in New York and watching Twin Peaks.
Me too. My mom wouldn't tell me anything. She had to like sign like some NDA every time she got a new script, and she would not tell me anything.
You have that going on. You also have, last time we were on the podcast, we talked a lot about the documentary you did, which I think was lovely and spectacular, about your dad, Quincy. And that's the title of the documentary. That's not me having the gall to call your dad Quincy.
You can. He would insist, actually.
Yeah. Hey, how's Quincy?
Yeah.
Hey, how's Q doing? Tell him C wants to know.
Doesn't have the same ring, I don't think.
No, it doesn't. It really doesn't.
Your sounds more like a disease.
Yeah, tell him the big C says hi.
Oh.
Cancer? But I think one of the coolest parts in that documentary that just blows my mind is when Frank Sinatra's on some TV show and he calls, you had the footage, he calls your dad out and says, by the way, this is the best arranger, producer, music genius I know. Let's get him out here, Quincy Jones. And I thought, just such a stunning moment, you know?
Yeah.
And
he
I don't
was
know.
a champion. Frank was his champion. They really loved each other a lot. And also it's in the documentary, but there was so much racism at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And Frank had a lot of power, and he used it to change things because they wouldn't let the band stay at the casinos they were playing at. And he was like, I'm not playing. My band's not staying here. I'm not playing. Yeah. You know?
Absolutely
cool.
incredible.
Yeah.
That's, were you interested in music for that reason? I know that music's a big part of your life, obviously. But I also think you got very interested in religion. Mm-hmm. I think you studied religion. Did you study religion in college?
Yeah, I did.
That's fascinating. Was there a certain religion you were drawn to, or did you find yourself like bopping around between different religions?
I bopped a little bit. I mean, I grew up like culturally Jewish. My mom's Jewish. And then I spent a lot of time, my mom took us to a Hindu meditation ashram. So I spent a lot of time there as a kid and lived in India for a little bit. But then I was like really into Buddhism. I was in a church choir. I was kind of all over the place. I just liked the ritual of religion. I thought was really cool.
I grew up very Catholic, and so there's a lot of rules and obviously guilt and things like that. And then later on, just in my life, when I've just in living in LA and trying to be open to different things, and you're exposed to things like Buddhism, I think, oh my God, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
There's another way.
There's another way
to look at it.
I don't have to necessarily hate myself.
Right. But that might be you.
No, but I know, and then other people say, no, everyone, you really should.
Oh,
No, that was such an unconvincing no.
I don't believe it. I'm not buying it. Hi, my name is Rashida Jones, and I feel blank about being Conan O'Brien's friend.
Okay. Well, there's a blank on the page.
Yeah.
But you also feel blank.
Well, no, I don't. That's not true.
No. I think you do.
I think just being funny.
No. I think I've never seen more honesty in your eyes. And I respect that. I
feel pretty good about being Conan O'Brien's friend?
We looked it up. Last time you said fine.
Pretty good is better than fine.
Yeah.
I think this is an upward trend.
And I'm going to say I celebrate this because the last time we talked to you, and it's no secret, I adore you.
Same.
And you were on Zoom because it was during COVID times, which we now know was a hoax.
Mm-hmm.
And
fixed with bleach.
Yep. Sona's words, not mine. But anyway,
do we really need the masks? We didn't really.
Please, Sona.
What were they injecting into our arms?
Please, Sona, please. Sona.
Okay, sorry.
Sona, please. You're in America now, okay? We have science here. So, but you were over Zoom, and this is one of the things I love doing the podcast, but it's just not the same. And I remember with some people, if I'm talking to someone over Zoom who I don't care that much about, I'm okay with it. Sometimes I even prefer it. But Rashida Jones, no, that cannot happen. That will never happen again.
Because you like to reach out and like just grab different parts of my face while we're talking. So
which is my way of showing affection.
Yeah, it's your language of love.
It's my language of love is to reach out and just grab a woman's face.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, the most erotic part of the body.
A nose.
An upper cheek, I've always found to be. We've talked about this, but I have a brother, Neil, who always will be watching TV and he'll always point out a part of, like, there'll be a woman on the news talking. He'll be like, the nape of her neck is just quite lovely.
Ew, Neil.
The nape of a neck? No.
Does every Irish person have a brother named Neil?
Yeah, I think we do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's check it.
It is court mandated that you have a brother
Even
named
your brother
Neil.
Neil has a brother named Neil.
Yes. Who finds other parts where the wrist meets the ulna bone. What? What are you talking about? It's very creamy right there. I like that. So nice to have you here.
So nice to be here.
And we were talking just before we started recording about, I was telling you a story about someone I used to know who would literally, if they were thinking that someone was sending them bad energy, they would break up the field in front of their face and toss the bad energy away while you were talking to them. It looked like they were grabbing a gnat out of the air, shaking it like dice and tossing it to the side. And this is, when I first came out to LA and I was meeting actors, actresses, some people would do things like that. And I was telling you, and you were like, I kind of get it.
I kind of get it. And
too.
Yeah, I think as women, we're more intuitive. Just kidding. I'm not going to go down that road. But I do think if you're going to believe in science, I mean, energy, exchange of energy, molecules, it's happening all the time. I mean, it's basic physics. Like, I don't know about somebody's boyfriend interfering with your line of vision, but I do think that, like, there's vibes. I believe in vibes.
I do think
strongly.
Yes, I do think there's got to be something to that.
Yes,
but
the boyfriend was not present, right?
No, the boyfriend
was right here.
No, yeah.
Oh, he wasn't.
No. Yeah, the boyfriend came out of a manhole, and no, this was someone who was just talking to me, and then suddenly interrupted and gathered up the bad forces and tossed them to the side. And I was a little surprised. And then she said, I think I'm getting some bad energy from my ex-boyfriend who was like in Portland. We were in LA. And so I thought, okay, I'm from Boston. We cover our faces when someone's actually punching us in the face. Like that's what we reserve that for, which happens a lot in my
case. But now
case.
you're in California, baby.
Yeah.
We cover our faces for different reasons.
Bad
energy.
Bad energy.
Energy. COVID.
Alleged COVID.
Alleged COVID. Yes, I'm very happy you're here. I think the whole room is elevated by your presence because you have great energy. You're a very...
Proving the point.
Yeah.
Well, it's true.
Proving the point.
I agree with it. I mean, and she probably heard, like, I think that when your ear's ringing, someone's thinking about you. So I believe in that stuff. I believe in the evil eye. I think that all that stuff
What's
works.
the evil eye?
My ear rings all the time. Does that mean somebody's always thinking about me? I have,
and it's like someone in this
chronic. It's only one of you five.
I've been staring at you. I think about Rashida all the time. And Liza's always coming into a room and I'm just focusing really hard. She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm thinking about Rashida.
The only constant in your life.
Liza's totally cool with it. She's like, well, Rashida's cool.
She gets it.
What are you going to do? I want to talk about this project that you're working on because it's a very cool idea. And this is something where you're in the show.
Mm-hmm.
You're also producing the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
EP.
Sonny, it's a fascinating idea. Do you want to lay out the idea?
Because you haven't seen it.
I have not. I have not.
Oh,
I didn't get to see it. No one
sent
sent it to me. No.
I'll send it to you.
No one sent me
maybe
Sonny.
I don't think
Sona and I
anybody
watched
sent
the
it
whole
to you.
thing.
Yeah.
Did you?
No.
No, they're kidding.
I'll say nice
I'll
if you
send
would
it
let
to you guys.
go.
Yeah.
No,
but
they always, if there's a tape that I'm allowed to watch, and I say tape to show how old I am.
I don't think they respect podcasters. That's the feeling.
No, I got nothing.
Wow.
But
Yeah.
I want to see
All
it because it sounds fantastic.
Yeah, it's a very odd, very original, and it's kind of a mystery thriller set in the near future in Japan, and it's about a woman, me, who is grieving the loss or potential loss of her husband and son who are on a plane crash, and she doesn't know what happened. And in the aftermath of the plane crash, she sent what is considered a homebot, which is a cute little robot that she finds out was designed by her husband. I think I can say that.
Yeah,
it's in the trailer.
His electronics robotic company.
Yes, produced this little thing for me to kind of keep me company and help me grieve
and
the loss of my husband.
And here's what's interesting to me about it, because your character lives in Kyoto. And what fascinated me about it is that I actually did a piece on this when I was in Japan. You can rent a family because there's an issue in Japanese culture with people being lonely.
Yeah.
And what they decided to do is say, you can rent a family. So I did a travel segment where I went to Japan and went to the agency, and I said, I'm in Japan for literally like 6 days, but I want a wife, I want a teenage daughter, and I want a father. And the person, they were all like, yes. And so they got me these people who did not really speak English.
Oh my God.
And so I started confronting my, quote, father about issues that I have with my real father. And guess what? It helped. I had all this closure.
Because he couldn't talk back. That's why
exactly.
it helped.
Yeah. But he was
couldn't understand
he was
you.
white-haired and really handsome. And the woman who signed on to be my wife, she and it's not her real daughter. It's also an actress or someone who's been trained to be the teenage daughter. The teenage daughter, I'm doing my shtick and my jokes. And at one point, I say something to the daughter, and the daughter turns to the mother and in Japanese says, I don't understand what he's saying. And the mother says in Japanese, not understanding that we can translate all this and put it under the screen, he's making jokes, just laugh. And she says, but I don't get them. And the wife says, it doesn't matter. And but anyway,
that feels like somewhat emblematic of that's like a moment in your career, right? Does that happen any other time?
It's a moment in my family life.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Just laugh. They're not even funny.
Yeah.
Just laugh.
My wife is just like, look, he's a good earner. Just
Good earner.
A good earner.
But there is. I always think a good idea has an element of truth in it. And when I heard about this idea, and I guess it's based on an Irish writer who wrote this. It's Colin O'Sullivan.
Mm-hmm.
It's such it's a dark idea, but it's also a funny idea that you would have a consolation robot.
Yeah.
You would have someone and I'm thinking of, if you've experienced a loss, that's one thing, but I'm thinking it would have all these applications, and it will exist.
Yeah.
Would have all these implications for people like us in show business. To just be like, good one, Conan.
Totally.
You know?
You're so funny. No, and the robot does think I'm hilarious.
You're beloved.
And my character hates it, which is kind of funny too, because I bet you would hate it if you actually.
No. I'd be like, this fucking robot gets it.
Finally. Somebody
I'm
smart.
a robot. I was hired just to do this for him.
You guys aren't even real,
and
right?
Yet you don't.
No.
It's not,
I learned quickly.
All these two do is shit on me.
Yeah.
And you're robots that were, I don't know, the programming got backwards.
You
or something.
broke our programming. Like we can't even do what we're supposed to do.
Yeah. Well, I screwed up somewhere. I actually think perversely I like the other. I like.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's right.
You want to be ragged on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. I think that's like human nature. But yeah, this is expressly weird because once the robot shows up, my life gets really dangerous and like people want things from me and I don't know what, and I'm not even sure I can trust her. So like, that's the other thing is like, we're talking about AI and the imperfections of AI. Like you can train something to become sentient, to grow and learn really fast. But then what? Like,
Right.
what does she have her own thing that she wants to do that, I don't know, might put me in danger?
When it comes to something like AI, I'm curious to get your take. Are you optimistic or very pessimistic?
I'm a little bit like, I guess I would say agnostic about this because it is what it is. Like it's here. It's an inevitability.
Yes.
We're here. It's not like it's coming. It's already here.
Right.
And I like, to me, it's hilarious, ironic that I think AI was created at the pace and the sort of compulsion that it was because the people who make it are so obsessed with what it means to be human that they're trying to replicate it somewhere else. So that to me is like, like we're kind of missing the point, which is like, instead of like really drilling down on that with each other, we're just like, training and creating, data sets and stuff somewhere else.
Yes.
So that we can, I don't know, like know more about ourselves. It doesn't really make that much sense to me, but it's here. I think there's obviously going to be tons of applications that are positive and tons that are negative. I mean, look at the internet. I'm sort of like a Luddite in that way. Like I think there's so much destruction that's come from social media.
Yes.
Mainly the monetization of behavior and like the meddling with the way people interact with each other, I think is so dangerous because we're so susceptible. Like we are built to be susceptible.
Yes.
We want to connect with each other so badly that we'll kind of believe anything to do it. So I think AI could potentially do that to us too. But I will say, like, working with this little robot, or like even when I did the Muppet movie, like it was so quickly that I was like having full conversations with Fozzie and not the puppet performer.
Yes.
Like it's very, very quickly you start to believe these things have a soul.
Yeah.
Like a voice and an expression and a couple little like, head tilts and like a touch of your wrist, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, you're so sweet and I care for you.
But that's an artist making that happen.
Totally.
See, and that's what I think
totally. There's still a person making that. We'll see though.
Yeah, we're going to find out.
Know.
What I keep going back to is that it's the job of humanity, artistic people, to whatever comes along. What I completely agree with is it's here. There's no putting it back into a Pandora's box and shutting it, nailing it shut.
No.
That's not going to happen. It's here. So then it's a challenge to artists everywhere to push beyond. That might sound like naive, but I always think when, and this analogy I think has been made by other people, but when photography came along, and I mean, it was a big thing for anyone who painted to make portraits. That was like, that was a huge piece of the revenue. And suddenly they're like, we're good. And so then we get all this impressionism, expressionism, cubism.
Mm-hmm.
It's just always the job of humans, if the technology challenges us, for us to rise above. That's where I am.
Rise above and to integrate. I mean, sound in movies changed everything. Like every single time we have some advancement in technology, we do have to change as artists. And like, I think young people younger than us don't understand the tension where we feel like our pure thing that we do is somehow at odds with the technology that's available. They're just like, awesome, let me take that and extrapolate and interpolate and like, do a bunch of stuff with it. So it is going to be one of those things, like we're going to have to become friends with it because it's going to be how we have to make what we make, and hopefully better. I don't know.
When you talk about being a Luddite, being someone who's not that comfortable with technology, I'm definitely that way. I'm a pen and paper guy. When I go on the computer, it's either Sona standing behind me and or
Grandpa, hit the return button.
I don't understand.
Power on.
So I have like an uneasy relationship with it, but I think the thing that I dislike the most about the last 25 years is that A, I've aged terribly, and B, no.
No, you're
me.
cute. You're forever crush.
No,
you are.
Please,
You are.
No, you'll see. No, you'll see when
I'll see.
You'll see.
What?
I know.
What
What
does
does that mean?
What does that mean?
It means that when I take my headset off, this is going to fall apart.
You're just gonna Dorian Gray in 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, what is it on Game of Thrones?
Oh, Melisandre.
Melisandre, where once you leave, I retreat to another room,
Right, and you're like,
and suddenly I have low hanging, what we call dugs. That's a low hanging.
What?
A low hanging. That's what Melisandre on Game of Thrones when she's beautiful and then she
Who's
takes up.
we and who's calling them dogs?
Don't look at me. Don't look at me. I'm not in this
Like-
with you.
The poets, back the classic poets.
They called them Dugs?
Dugs, Dugs.
Oh,
Look
yeah.
it up.
Oh.
Look it
They
up.
just talk about people's dugs.
Shriveled Dugs is like I'm gonna say either T.S. Eliot or it's one of the great poets. Yes, it's a term for an old woman's
D-U-G-S.
yeah.
Old man with wrinkled dugs.
Yes,
Wow.
means like a man or a woman with breasts and
I'm
sagging
only
down.
calling them Dugs from now on.
But it's
But
not
I'm
a
gonna
Google
think
search.
of it's going
But
to be
it's
like
not
a
a compliment.
D-O-U-G.
It's not a
No, I
compliment.
know, but I'm going to be like, but I'm going to turn it into a compliment.
Okay, well, I just want all of our listeners to know that's the word of the day, Dugs.
Dugs.
Doug.
If someone's breasts are really hanging down, man or woman go like, you got some shriveled Dugs there.
Such
Can you
a
say,
funny
hey,
term.
nice Dugs?
doesn't work
That's
that
what
way.
I'm doing.
Yeah.
No, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
We're changing it.
And if someone says, where'd that come from? Go, hey, man, Ezra Pound, T.S. Eliot, get with it.
Yeah.
And then you're cool.
And then you're cool. Then you're cool.
Anyway, here's the part that I was saying that I don't like about the last 20 years before we got off onto shriveled Dugs is that
Stop saying shriveled Doug.
shriveled Dugs. Anyway,
Ah.
what I'm going to say is that I think they found a way to game humans, and they realized that humans naturally are attracted to and compelled by conflict. I think we kind of always knew that, which is why we like movies where things blow up and there's a bad guy and a good guy. But they've gone hyper with it so that everything, including the news, has to be people shouting at each other.
Yeah.
All reality shows have to be people shouting at each other. There has to be, if we were doing this right, I'd constantly be angry at Matt. Matt would constantly be angry at me.
Well.
So, I know, but you have to, tamp it down.
Right.
But I guess my point is, that's the part where I think I've seen it infect comedy, where a lot of comedians, they just want to say things that piss people off, or they want to rail against this or rail against that. And I think that can be fine until we're losing our sense of like, is this funny? Is this something that makes me laugh?
Or
Does this
also,
come from?
we're losing sight of what real conflict is.
Yeah,
Because
yes.
everything is conflicted now.
Right.
And like our fight or flight is like, it's so often being incited that it's like, your whatever cortisol you're like dumping that you're supposed to use to like run away from a lion or a tiger and go hide in a cave for 2 months, like all day long, every day, people are like, cortisol, I'm gonna die. Somebody, I'm in trouble. Like, like the world's gonna end all day long, every day.
Yes.
So you become so desensitized when like you're actually supposed to care about something and something's a real conflict, know?
Yes.
It's very strange. And also that it's all intentional, that the people who are building these platforms know that.
They know it,
and they're buying into it, and they want to modify our behavior. They want us to keep coming back and engaging. And the way to do that is to keep us in conflict. And like everybody's mad at each other right now. They should be mad at the people who built these platforms.
Yeah.
This is not to me, this is not what like free speech and technology can do at its best. Like, I know everybody's like, but we're connected. Like, are we?
No,
I was like, we're not connected.
Well, I was at some Silicon Valley event, I want to say maybe 8 years ago. And afterwards, I'm talking to a lot of these Silicon Valley bigwigs, billionaires who are in their 20s and early 30s. And they were, one of them said to me like, well, we're just making the world a better place. And I said, no, you're making the world a different place.
Mhm. Exactly.
But I don't know. And then we got into it because they
Ooh,
didn't
good,
like that.
Good.
They
I'm
didn't
glad
like
you
that.
did.
But then they gave me $1 billion.
And you shut up. And you just shut
I
up
said,
on the
you're
spot.
making the world a better place. And
Can we have some?
No, I bought land with it.
Oh man.
Yeah.
The land.
I have all of Connecticut.
Really?
And then underwater, I own everything underwater off.
You know,
Connecticut.
you don't
Whoa.
pay us for this, right?
What's that?
We don't get paid for this.
Oh, I know. It's a
Okay.
volunteer
That's
thing.
a bad deal for you, man.
No.
You got to look out for
Where
yourself.
Where are they gonna go?
It's true. I got nothing else going on.
It's an Apple TV Plus series called Sunny, and I have not seen it yet, but I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see it because it's a very cool idea. But also, I'm just, I said it before, I'll say it again. I adore you. You are so funny. You're so smart. You're Jesus Christ.
I'm Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
That feels weird.
Congratulations.
What?
No.
I'm not
Congratulations.
accepting that title.
No, you didn't let me finish. Jesus Christ, comma, you're Rashida Jones. And
Oh,
that's
okay.
a pretty cool thing to be.
Okay.
I think I'm more of the Jesus figure here.
Oh man. Ruining things.
Kind of rose from the dead when you think about it. Well, I had a bad cold last week.
Oh.
Now I'm fine. Anyway, please, I loved having you here, and please
It's so
come
nice
back
to be here.
anytime.
I would love to. It's so
And
fun
you're
here.
also in the neighborhood, so come by sometime and have lunch with us.
Yeah.
And you'll pay, I guess.
Is this a real offer?
Yeah. we will take you out to lunch to
For
a
real?
really nice. Yeah, we'll go to Great White right down the street.
I love Great White.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I'm all hooked up there.
Are you?
Meaning if I go there and I wait long enough, they let me in.
They don't throw you out.
That's my definition of hooked up. If I get there early, put my name down and wait for a really long time, half the time I get in. I'm hooked up. You are first generation.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Your parents were born in Korea?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've always thought that it is a scary proposition when anyone tells their parents, you know what? I kind of like to get into improv and comedy. But there's something that when you're first generation, I've always felt that the intensity knob must be turned up.
Yes.
And this is for any culture. It's we just got here. We've got to get serious here.
Yep.
And it's very important for you to get up this ladder as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
And then you're telling them, I really improv and making some goofy stuff on the internet.
Yeah.
That sounds fun to me. How did that go over?
Well, I mean, the immigrant kind of journey is I mean, that's a huge sacrifice. You leave all your friends, your family, you come to this new place, you don't speak the language, you just do it so your children could have a better opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do remember, when I started getting interested in doing acting and comedy and kind of telling them a little bit, kind of mentioning, this might be a career path, and they shut me down right away. They were like, no, it's not going to work. You can't do it. And I was like, I'm just kind of throwing
you
it out
didn't think
there.
I was
but,
serious, did
yeah,
you?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm still on the astrophysicist track.
Yeah. and then I just, from there on out, I just didn't tell them. I just kind of did it.
Right,
yeah,
right.
Kind of behind their backs.
I
still haven't told them.
That's getting harder and harder for you.
Yeah,
'Cause television, movies,
they don't watch much.
You just quickly just put on some kind of a medical coat when you come in
every
the door.
time.
Yeah. Oh
Set the
boy,
show-
that was
yeah.
a tough surgery today. Why were you operating on the brain? I thought you operated on eyes. Did I say brain? No.
They're
No.
all connected,
I had to go through the eyes to get to the
That's
brain.
right. That's right.
Yeah, it's funny because my parents we've been here many generations, but I think I was part of a very large family,
Right.
and I do get the sense that, and my parents were upwardly mobile, and had the mission that they had. That's the message they had received from their parents, who received it from their parents.
Yeah.
But I think I benefited a lot from being one of many.
Yes.
Because I honestly think, I see helicopter parents today that hover over their kids and know everything that they're doing.
Yeah.
And I love my parents, and they were really good parents, but it was a different time. There were a lot of us. I honestly don't think they knew what I was doing most of the time. And I think they just were, you know, I graduated college and said, yeah, I'm out in LA now. All right. Which one are you? Third from the top, fourth from the bottom. All right.
Yeah, I mean, for me,
I'm paying my own rent. Good enough.
I mean, I was born and raised in LA, so they're like here, you know, they're like, so, and you know, it was kind of hard to hide from them, like, truthfully. But, you know, over time, it's like they'd see me on TV, they'd see me on a commercial, and they'd be like, wow, what was that? And I was like, it's just a hobby, you know. And the crazy thing was they were, you know, when I told them, like, hey, I got this opportunity to play Kim Jong-un in a movie, and I was like, really, like, do you guys think this is okay? And they were like super excited.
Obviously,
yeah,
I would think. Yeah. I'm guessing they're from South Korea.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
good.
Yeah,
because you know it gets more complicated.
Yeah.
No, you cannot. You mentioned you did some commercials. What was your first commercial that you did before?
Oh, that's right. It was a commercial. It was on the you know, channel 18 in LA, which is kind of like the Asian channel where they do like shows.
That's where I got my start. Well.
Yeah.
When I had my first talk show. No, it was actually my fifth talk show. I killed it, by the way. They loved me. They didn't understand a word. But they really thought it was great.
Yeah, and it was a commercial for that network. Non-union. It was for these Chinese liver pills.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't know. I actually don't know what exactly it was for because I don't understand Chinese. And
so the ad was in.
It was in Chinese.
Was in Chinese,
yeah.
And so you don't even know. You think they were liver pills.
I think they were. It's because someone might have told me that.
Are you sure that maybe it wasn't something more nefarious?
I don't know.
I
don't know.
It's not your responsibility to know.
No, I just needed the money. And yeah, and in the commercial, I just play this dad who comes home tired, and then the kid is like, oh, let me give my dad these pills, which is kind of weird.
What?
I know what my dad needs. How old are you? 4. Yeah. Here's a pill I got from a commercial that I didn't understand.
And then the kid shoves the pills down my throat.
He shoves them in your mouth?
No.
Oh, okay, all right.
But the kid, you know, gets the idea of giving me these pills, and then and then all of a sudden, cut to I'm energetic, and then I'm playing with him. That was the commercial.
Yeah. Well, he gave you I think definitely an amphetamine.
Yeah, for sure.
He gave you a strong, powerful dose of methamphetamine. That was not a liver pill. Is a liver pill? Does it treat your liver, or is it made of liver?
Yeah, good question.
I don't know.
Wow, you're a responsible guy when you do that, aren't you?
Anything.
Hello, I'm not sure what this is, but inject this into your heart immediately. This is Randall Park saying, "You can trust me."
I stand by it.
I made like $120. So
seriously,
that's, something like it was like very. I mean, but that, to me at the time, that was like, oh
and
my
how
God.
many people did you indirectly kill because you did this for $120?
We're doing the research now.
Okay.
They say it's in the tens of thousands. You were a graphic designer. I mean,
that's right.
And you wouldn't maybe know that from looking at the portrait of me, but you did that for a number of years.
I did.
And you worked for some interesting projects.
Well, no, I mean, I worked for, I think they still have them, the weekly kind of free, like LA Weekly, the free kind of in the kiosk. You just grab, and then in the back section of those weeklies were the ads for escorts. And
I'm quite familiar.
You know.
Sure, I do know actually.
Yeah, I've seen your ad in the back.
I will date you and then give you a liver pill.
Not in that order.
But I was in charge of. They put me in charge of kind of building those ads for.
So is it just arranging? Aren't they mostly? Not that I haven't studied them closely, but photographs and then numbers to call.
Yeah. And then like like a, I don't know, backdoor action, like things, things like kind of
a tagline
that say it without saying it,
I'm lost. I don't know what you're talking about. You got to spell this out for me.
Like anal sex.
Okay. So they meet you at the back door of their house, and then you have anal sex. Should I just stop asking?
Just stop.
Okay. All right.
But so I would, build these ads and people, I guess pimps would come in and give photos and I'd have to scan the photos.
So the pimps would come in and say, "Who do I speak to?" And they'd say, "Randall over there." And you'd be like, "Oh, hey, how are you?" And they'd say,
pretty much, the managers, I guess, stuff like that.
A pimp might be a derogatory term.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to. And listen,
you guys are looking at me like,
oh please, you were a pimp for a while.
But it was
only for prostitutes dressed as late 19th century heiresses.
And then other times we'd use stock photos, like just like royalty free, like stock photos of these poor models.
Wow.
It was not a good job.
I got an early gig. I had some very stupid early jobs. One was I was hired because someone had seen me do improv, maybe at the Groundlings, but they said, and I just wanted to do anything to get experience. So they said that come and you can improvise. You can be the guy. It was to sell musical instruments.
Yeah.
And it was for some National Association of Musical Instrument Sellers. And they said, we want you to be the guy who's, you're the guy selling instruments at the store who says too much. You're too pushy. You're too bossy. And basically, I realized they hired me because they said, just improvise it. That way they didn't have to have a script. So I was the guy who someone came in as the customer. So there was a very handsome man who said, but remember, when selling musical instruments at your store, you don't want to be too gabby like this salesman. And then he would step away, and a guy would go up and go, I'm thinking of buying a Moog synthesizer. And I'd say, oh, well, you want the chord. And I would say all this stuff that I was just making up. And I remembered the job paid absolutely nothing, like next to nothing. And they told me, bring your own makeup. I didn't even have makeup. So I went to a drugstore and basically just asked for paste that would make me look less white. And did it myself in my crappy car in a really hot parking lot.
Oh my God.
And just walked in looking like a burn victim. And then another thing that I remembered recently is a friend of mine he was in charge of putting together a poster for like a slasher film.
Yeah.
And there's a standard thing we've all seen a million times on slasher films where it's a woman. She's almost in a silhouette.
Yes,
and she's clearly taking off her bra and panties behind, but then there's the shadow. Of the creep in the background who's holding a gun, and I'm that shadow.
I want to know what movie this is. I'm dying to know.
We can find out because I'm still good friends. My friend will tell me, and we'll find it. But I'm a creepy shadow that's looking at a woman who, for some reason, is standing directly in front of a window and is deciding to undress. But I have a very, I have a distinctive profile.
Yeah.
And I remember doing that, and we all do these things. We do these things just to...
I did a bunch of workplace training videos, those, and
that sounds like what I did, yeah.
To this day, yeah, and to this, harassment or bullying, different themes, and to this day, they still show them, and people will like reach out and tell me like, hey, I just saw you in our workplace training video.
Now, did you get to be... Because I got to do both. They would say, here's the wrong way, and I would be the too nosy and too pushy, and too filled with information that just overwhelmed the guy. And the customer would go like, I just can't handle this, and would walk away. And then the handsome guy would step in and say, maybe this is the way to do it. And then I'd say, well, tell me what you're looking for. And I would be the reasonable guy. Did you ever get to be the bad guy?
Both. Both. Yeah. I was in one. I was being sexually harassed, which was interesting. Yeah, it was like, and then in another, I was a bully. I was a workplace bully.
What kind of things were you saying?
Just snide comments, in the break room.
Okay, shut up, Gourley. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna watch Randall's video. We're gonna look it up. We're gonna watch his video about bullying, and it's probably gonna be stuff that is. My dial is on 10 and you're probably on 2.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you're probably just saying things like, hey, come on, get the lead out. Let's move it. We got and Gourley's watching it thinking, this is nothing.
You got it good.
But you loved TV growing up as a kid, right?
Yeah, I did.
TV was huge.
Oh my gosh,
you.
TV was huge. Late night was huge. You were huge. I was older, but
right.
Just I was more when I was a kid, like big into Letterman and Johnny Carson. I remember when I was really little, just staying up late watching. Yeah,
it's so funny now that Johnny Carson was the biggest television star imaginable. You can't even explain to people anymore, and he was such a iconic sort of incredible mythic figure, and so influential on so many of us. And I got this picture with him about a year after he retired. He did some event, and I was there. And there's a picture of us together that's one of my most treasured possessions.
Yeah.
And my assistant who fills in for Sona was working with me, and he came into my study because he was helping me set up a Zoom.
Yeah.
And he was looking at the different pictures I have on the wall of my study. And he was like, oh, who's that guy?
Oh, no.
Yeah. And did he like sell you insurance? And it's not his fault.
No.
He's just really young.
Yeah.
But it's incomprehensible to me that someone wouldn't know who Johnny Carson is, but that's that's the way it goes.
Yeah.
It happens to all of us.
That is why. I mean, even when I was a kid, and like my like the way I saw Johnny was like old Johnny, and he had been doing TV for so long at that point, and my parents knew Johnny as a different Johnny,
Yes.
and
They knew him from like probably, I don't know, a younger era, you're saying.
Yeah, and it's just I feel like lucky to have caught a little bit of
what's funny, you just have I always think that the stuff I saw as a kid is the most magical to me.
Yeah.
And there's so much I think there's never been more good comedy available right at people's fingertips than there is right now. I think the stuff that is being made by young comedians is absolutely there's so much brilliant stuff out there. And I'm blown away by what people are achieving. But it'll never have the same magic for me as stuff that I saw when I was a kid that made me laugh.
Yeah.
When I was just a kid in Brookline, Massachusetts, sitting there, watching TV, that has a power that nothing else can replace.
Yeah.
It's like the rock bands you were listening to when you were 15 and 16. No music can ever fully reach that level again. You just get one shot at getting into that portal. And that was then.
Totally.
What were you watching when you were a kid that you really loved?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I was...
Besides late night.
I was big on sitcoms. Just, I grew up sitting in front of a TV, just all the sitcoms. I knew the TV Guide, which was another thing back then. Just this.
There used
book.
to be a magazine, a book that came out once a week that told you when things were on. And it was more important than the Bible in most homes. It was the Bible.
It was the Bible.
I also looked to it for religious instruction.
But yeah, that was, I memorized it, every night I knew what was going to be on, what time, what it was going up against, and I mostly sitcoms is what I'd watch,
Your era, I know you're younger than I am, so you're watching like what, Silver Spoons?
Silver Spoons.
Too Close for Comfort.
Too Close for Comfort. Family Ties. Yeah, Too Close for Comfort was a little before me, but I did watch that. Family Ties, Newhart. Not the original one, but the bed and breakfast one. Cosby Show,
Right.
Golden Girls, all of them.
You know what's interesting is that every show you just listed had laughter on it.
Yeah.
Meaning it was either shot before a live studio audience or it had. And it's so fascinating to me that there's a whole kind of comedy that young people who have grown up watching, I'm thinking of my kids, the things that they really love, and rightly so, they'll watch The Office, or they'll watch Arrested Development, or they'll watch Community, or they'll watch, New Girl, all these shows that they'll watch that aren't even on right now.
Yeah.
But there's no laugh track there.
Yeah.
And it almost became, I wonder what they would think of these shows where there's laughter now. Would it seem odd to them?
Yeah. I mean, that's what I loved about them,
I know. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I loved it too. But if I watched, I'm a huge Nathan Fielder.
Oh my gosh.
I think he's brilliant.
Me too.
And I love The Rehearsal, and I love Nathan For You.
Yeah.
If there was laughter on that, it would freak me out.
Yeah. Yeah.
If there was laughter on Curb Your Enthusiasm, it would feel wrong to me. It's this thing that I wonder about a lot in comedy, which is at some point there was a period where it was just unheard of that you would watch a comedy
without laughter
on television without laughter.
Yeah.
And now I think a lot of and I think maybe it's for the good because people are learning.
Well, I feel like it feels more personal now and less communal, and I feel like back then, I don't know, it just felt like it was, you watch a show and you feel like you're watching it with a bunch of people, and then you go to school the next day and you talk to your friends about that. It was all very kind of like, I don't know, it felt like a community, and I think the laugh track kind of supported this feeling of, whereas now it's so intimate and nuanced and I think that's great. It's just different, but there isn't that sense of like,
we're all in this together.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember Happy Days was a huge show when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And my best friend was Jake Fleischer, and there was an episode where he was this is not the famous Jump the Shark episode, but before that there was an episode where he had to do some stunt on his bicycle. The Fonz had a bicycle back then. This is before he got really cool.
This is his unicycle.
He was a very fit, aerobically in shape Fonz. He had to do some kind of jump on his motorcycle. It was like the first season of the show, and everyone in school was watching, and I was in maybe 4th grade, 5th grade. I don't know what I was in, but I didn't get to see it, but my friend Jake Fleischer had seen it because my parents wouldn't let me watch TV on a school night.
Yeah.
And the next day I ran to Jake Fleischer's house. I remember as fast as I could to have him explain to me, is the Fonz okay?
That's right.
And, today I would get on my computer.
Yeah.
First of all, I'd my parents, they can't control what I'm watching if I'm streaming something on the computer. Who knows?
Yeah.
This was back when...
Well, then, like a show airs and you're never going to see it again.
That's it.
Ever.
It's it. Yeah. Or maybe it'll be rerun over the summer.
That's right. Yeah.
But chances are you're not going to, or you're going to maybe see it in a rerun in the spring, maybe.
Yeah.
But it was, I ran like a maniac, like my life depended on it, and was pounding on Jake Fleischer's door, like, what happened? He said he does get hurt, and it's a 2-parter, and he has to go to the hospital for the next one because his leg is hurt. And I'm like, wow, I'll be back. My dad we weren't allowed to watch TV on a school night, and if he suspected that we were cheating, because we were always cheating, he would rush in. We would hear him coming because someone was on the lookout, and we would scatter, turn off the TV and scatter, but he would put his hand on the TV set, and this is back when TVs had a little bit of an electrical staticky charge that you could feel, and if he felt that charge, he was like, "Get in here!" And it was
How did
terrifying.
you see any TV if you couldn't watch TV on a school night? That was when all the good shows were on.
Well, I got better at cheating. We got better at cheating,
Wow.
but I missed out on some really good stuff.
Sounds like
but one of the advantages is that my father was really into classic comedy, so he would make sure that I saw, anytime he took me to a movie which was 10 from your show of shows, which was all of Sid Caesar's best sketches.
Oh, wow.
And he took me to the movie theater. He took me to see Chaplin. He took me to see Laurel and Hardy. He made sure that I had this great foundation, which is why I really fought hard for our late night show to be shot in black and white. And to mostly involve pratfalls. But I lost that one. You also had a number of very different kinds of jobs.
Yeah.
You were a night watchman at a museum?
Yeah.
How were you a good night watchman?
I wasn't a night watchman. I was a security guard.
I like saying night watchman. I like the idea of you and you befriend a mouse who's also you have a really long flashlight and you guys have adventures. I mean, if you don't mind me having that.
Sure. Okay. I was a night watchman. It was during the day. At the Hammer Museum.
And you wore a sleep mask while you walked around, smashing into things.
Sure. Yeah. And my job was basically to like stand there. Pretty much, and if someone got too close to the painting, just tell them, "Hey, can you back away?" And then that was it. That was pretty much it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were sort of like someone whose job was to monitor at a prom, an adult. You too. You're a little close to the Mona Lisa there. Back it up a little bit.
Pretty much.
Hands off the lower back.
That was it. Yeah, I was hoping for like some kind of huge theft of something.
Would you have done anything?
No. No, but it would have been like.
Would you have helped them? No, that edge is dragging. That's going to hurt the frame. I'll get that edge.
Probably.
You get the front, and let's get this Van Gogh out of here. There you go, guys. All right, I think we got it.
Yeah.
Just keep the bungee cords.
Yeah.
Those are yours to keep. You worked at a. You worked at a Starbucks?
I did. Yeah.
Were you? What's that gig like?
It was the best. I loved it. I worked for a few years at the Starbucks in the Palisades. That's where they put me, and I remember just driving up there, and sometimes famous people would come in, and at the time I was doing kind of comedy just for fun, and Brad Garrett came in one day.
That's a very tall man.
Yeah, very tall. And he left like a $20 tip. And I was like, oh my gosh, that was like so cool, Do
you think he probably felt because you recognized him, he had to leave a $20 tip?
Maybe.
That's the trap.
Because I was like,
that's the trap you're in. Because people go like, oh, that's so cool. It's Randall Park.
Yeah.
And, in the old days, you could throw a couple of coins in there.
That's right. Now I got to leave $20 every time. Yeah.
I have a thing where I leave 20, but it's on a fishing line.
Oh my God.
And so they get that initial burst of like, Conan seems like at 20, that's pretty good. He just, he didn't really he just got a water and he gave me a 20.
Yeah.
And then I'm outside the store and I wait until their back is turned. And I whip the 20 away, and then I watch them accuse others in the store of stealing it.
Oh, yeah.
So I've been using the same 20 since 1993.
So ordering waters all over the country, coffee shops all over the country.
I don't even want the stuff I'm ordering there half the time, but I just want to make a good impression, and then I want my 20 back. You said that you went to, where'd you go? Did you go to the West Bank?
Our plan was really to shoot between Haifa, Tel Aviv, and the West Bank. Mm-hmm. When we were there, we weren't able to actually shoot in the West Bank. There was this really kind of just horrible thing that happened. This journalist, Shireen Abu Akhla, was killed, you know.
And that happened while you were there or just before you went there?
On our locations.
Oh, Jesus. Oh,
so
wow.
It was kind of this thing, too, where, my mom was like, why are you going to shoot there? Can't you just shoot it somewhere else? I'm like, no, we have to go there. Like, I want to work with the crews there or whatever, and it'll be safe. Don't worry. Don't believe the news.
And then she said Vancouver.
Yeah.
Shoot Vancouver for Tel Aviv.
That's how much my parents...
I didn't realize there were that many fir trees in Israel. That's incredible.
My parents know that much about the industry. They're pitching Vancouver.
No, it would really be great. They're like, no, the rates in Vancouver are great.
I was like, my dad's like, you got to lead with the tax incentive. All right, go to Vancouver, go to Toronto, be smart, save the production.
This reminds
money.
me of I was watching. I went and saw Top Gun with my son, and at the end they have that big, we go together with we go to war with a fictional country, and it's kind of not clear where it is, but there's just a lot of fir trees and a lot of snow, and it looks really beautiful. And the lights came up afterwards, and I said, why did we go to war with New Hampshire?
Yeah.
It's just like, what? That's a funny idea. Someone who's like, we probably should go to Tel Aviv. I don't know. We got such a good rate in Vancouver. Who's going to really know? Who's going to really know?
Don't think New Mexico wasn't thrown out on a call.
Really?
Conan, you know enough to know New Mexico was thrown out.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That was thrown out on a call. By the way, no one talks about how woke the new Top Gun is. They really don't mention another country. It's kind of nice. You don't know who it is.
You'd like to say it's woke. You could also say that they wanted to make sure that it did well in every market internationally, which is, I suspect, what was really going on there.
I call that financially woke. That's beautiful.
Hey, let's start that movement, the financially woke movement. Just like, no, woke, that's very financially, that was very offensive. Well, but financially, very woke.
Financially very woke.
Yeah.
I did walk out of that going, wow, I didn't hear Arabic. I didn't know what country. Well, it was pretty impressive. Look at that. They did it. Way to go, Tom. I was excited. I was in there. I was like, whoa.
It was so generic as a country. And I thought, God, this place looks beautiful. I don't know where they are, but...
Is this Turks and Caicos?
Yeah, exactly. Happening? I also love that in the movie, they had far superior fighter planes than the United States. And I'm like, which country is this? It's a country I've never heard of that looks suspiciously like Maine. And they have airplanes, fighter jets that are like 3 generations ahead of ours. Wait a minute. Don't we have the most expensive military in the world? Who laid down on the job and let Switzerland get all these amazing planes? So that kind of blew my mind.
Yeah, no, it's...
and that's why I brought you in here, by the way.
Yes.
I wanted to sort of rope-a-dope you with... We'll talk about Rami and we'll talk about, your religion and the struggle. But I really want to talk about Top Gun.
Yeah.
And how I wanted to know about that country.
Yeah, I think we walked out of that movie as Americans with a lot of questions for our government.
Yeah.
Where are these planes? Why don't we have them?
The other thing that I love, and I'm going to keep talking about Top Gun,
Please.
Is that Tom Cruise is the best pilot ever. He's dedicated his whole life to, Maverick has dedicated his whole life to serving his country. He's absolutely amazing. Everyone says hands down he's the best. And his superior officer like, get in here, you shithead. Yeah. What was that stunt you pulled where you did that really amazing thing and saved everybody's life? Well, sir, shut up. Shut the fuck up. And I ran... I ran into John Hamm somewhere. Yeah. As everyone knows, he's, in addition to being great, actually, he's a very funny guy. But I was like, what was your problem with Tom Cruise? All he's done is, and he's like, I know. And all you do is, and then it's like, did you see what Tom Cruise just did? Did you see what Maverick just did? He just saved America, and that person was lost, and he rescued him, and then he put a plane together out of Legos and got everybody out of there. Yeah, get him in here. You piece of shit.
Well, because I think you're forgetting the beginning of the movie. He blows up an expensive plane, right? Which goes against the movie's principles of financial wokeness. So I think that is the biggest issue with the film. If you're kind of tracking the through line of what they care about, the guy's fucking up. Because it's not about the country. It's about the budget.
You're right.
And so
I see it now.
He's a budgetary
He did
issue.
blow up that plane.
Yeah, get in here, you little shit. You're ruining our budget.
If you save more lives one more time. It's just that old trope that's in every buddy cop movie where you have to get chewed out, even though you've clearly done an amazing job.
Oh, you're handsome. You're skilled. Somehow you're the underdog.
Yeah.
I don't know how. Literally just gorgeous. Like just better skin than my sister.
I know.
And I don't know how.
I root for that guy because I think we are about the same age. And I'm just... he takes his shirt off in that movie, and I somehow felt that I had gotten in shape.
Yeah.
just because, and I just was like, see, I am a movie star. And my wife was like, what are you talking about? Well, we're the same age. Right. But he's got all these genetic gifts, which you do not have, and he works out like crazy, and you do not. And I was like, me.
No, I think you should write like a think piece. You know, it's just like Tom Cruise got jacked for my whole generation.
He did.
I think he did it for all of you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Right. I think you're shocked when you saw me in person and how old I look.
I think you look great, and I thought you were very tall. That's really what struck me, because when we were hugging, it was this long hug, and I was just firmly in the middle of your chest. I thought
I held
that was
you.
Amazing.
I held you for a while. I cradled you.
It was a really nice cradle. Yeah.
Your feet did not touch the ground. I lifted you. I held you for a while. I put you in a baby Bjorn. Remember that? And we walked around
the Sirius XM office. And everyone was like, wow. We don't know what this is, but
we don't know what it is, but it
feels progressive.
It feels very progressive.
Yeah, it feels like the future. I felt that. I was like, wow, maybe things can change.
You said that you went to, where'd you go? Did you go to the West Bank?
Our plan was really to shoot between Haifa, Tel Aviv, and the West Bank. Mm-hmm. When we were there, we weren't able to actually shoot in the West Bank. There was this really kind of just horrible thing that happened. This journalist, Shireen Abu Akhla, was killed. You know,
and that happened while you were there, or just before you went there?
On our locations.
Oh Jesus! Oh wow!
The fact that we got to go, it was unbelievable. I mean, we were there for that massive event. It shifted a lot of our shooting. I think there was a few American crew, and then we had our Palestinian crew, and we were in the middle of Jerusalem. And we went to her funeral, and this journalist who got killed is Christian. And so it's like we're at a church in Jerusalem with this really just diverse group of people, and you know, because there's Americans there, American Jewish crew, and American Muslims, and Palestinian Christians, and you know, Christians in Israel, and it's like I think everyone kind of walked away, especially when you go there, and we shot a show there, and it was fascinating because we shot first in Tel Aviv, and then we went to Jerusalem, and what I remember very clearly is we had our team that was Israeli, and then when we went over to shoot in Jerusalem, the teams had to shift over. Mm-hmm. So it's different security because they need to be Palestinian. Mm-hmm. And it was all handled, I mean, it's crazy because all you've ever heard is this amazing, horrible conflict that no one can seem to figure out. And then this was just, okay, we're going to stop here, and then these guys are going to take over. Hey, guys. Yep.
Okay, thank you very much. And they had it all worked out, which, you know, it just made me feel like maybe the answer is, on a showbiz level, people figure things out.
They do.
And maybe that's the answer in the Middle East, is how do we turn this into show business?
Yeah.
You know? And then everyone's going to be like, okay, wait a minute. All right, I see how we can do this. I see how we can figure this out.
Well, it's so funny that you say that, because we had these kids who came from this area called Jenin, which is one of the most dangerous areas in the West Bank. There's a lot of kind of, you know, there's truly a lot of unjust violence happening, and these kids have this thing called freedom theater in the middle of all of it, and they're working on becoming actors. It's like, and it's unbelievable. They sent in these audition tapes, and these kids are like, I'm going to be a big actor. And it's like, wow. And we saw these two kids we fell in love with. We're like, they got to be in the show, and we were going to go and shoot by them. Then this happens and we can't. And so we had to ask the government for a visa to get them in to Jerusalem. And everyone's like, this is impossible. It's not going to happen. And somehow it did. So, I mean, to your theory that somehow show business makes things work, I'm like, these kids had never gotten a visa their whole life to come over. And then this kid came and he went to the sea for the first time. Like, he went to the water for the first time in his life.
Oh, wow.
To shoot our thing. And he was like, this is the best week of my life shooting this TV show. And there was this really interesting thing that did happen where you're there and you're just seeing all the pieces work. Even though this horrific thing happened while we were there, everyone kept cool. Everyone was like, okay, we're going to just figure this out. Somehow the visa's still cleared. Like, all these things that you would think wouldn't be able to happen. And I agree with you. When you're there on the ground, you're seeing people speaking, you know, like one of our guys is this driver, Palestinian dude. He speaks English, Arabic, Hebrew, and
Right.
a bunch of these. So he's like, he knows Hebrew, and he's walking around. He's speaking to a Israeli soldier in Hebrew, and then they're going somewhere else, and then he's speaking Arabic, and you just see this desire to keep making things work, and somehow pep in the step, and somehow just like, we're gonna get through this, we're gonna figure it out.
Right.
And I don't know if you felt this, but I walked away and I was inspired. You know.
I left thinking, one thing I think is my philosophy. I've done all these travel shows, gone to these different countries, and ended up with this philosophy that I think there's a tendency for people to want to make things simple. And there's a lot of pundits that like to say, it's easy. You know, whether it's in America, they like to say it's an easy choice. And I like to point out that things are very complicated. Things are extremely complicated. And so that's been a little bit of bone of contention of mine, is when you go and you see that there is no simple truth that explains. It's so complex that when people act like, no, this is easy on one side or the other, I think I get offended by that.
Yeah. Because it feels to kind of just like underwrite a bunch of real complicated human experiences.
Right. And say, here, this is what you do. Okay, I got it. Now, next, what do we got next? And I think, well, clearly they do it. It's a big problem in American politics now, is everyone likes to think this is so simple.
Yeah.
My side's right and your side's wrong. And that's not always the case,
Well, my therapist will say a lot of times things are simple, but that doesn't mean they're easy.
Right.
He's like, sometimes the hardest things are the simple things.
Right.
And that's where a lot of the complications come in that vacuum of like, well, it should be, why can't, like, it is a very hard thing to achieve simplicity even at home.
Right.
With your family, to be able to do the simple thing. And so I think that the thing that gives me hope when I'm there is seeing certain microcosms of how people deal with each other. That can be inspiring. But, and I think my hope comes from like, okay, what if we were able to get enough microcosms right, that the macrocosm would solve itself? And I actually think that probably is, like, in many ways a pattern that would work, but it's really hard to nail a microcosm. It's really hard to nail just what's going on in your own house.
Right. Well, that's, I think, again, going back to your show, that it's all about, this is a family. Yeah. And years and years and years ago, when I worked on The Simpsons, I remember thinking, my job here is just to think of I'm going to think of the funniest jokes I can and the funniest situations I can. And then sort of hearing the people that ran the show said, you have to remember, first and foremost, they're a family. And I thought, what? What is this drivel? I'm going to write the craziest Mr. Burns jokes you've ever seen. I don't care about that. But they were right. It's first and foremost a family, which is what makes it work. I think the reason that your show has an impact when you watch it is because I relate to this family, because it's really not that different from any other family.
Yeah.
In there are specific things that are, of course, very different, but that's why I'm there. That's why I'm invested, is because, like the episode you made about your mom and her struggles, and she becomes a Lyft driver, and just, I felt terrible for her. I felt like no one's seeing her, no one's taking care of her. You blow her off for dinner. You're out the door, and she's made this great dinner, and you suck, by the way.
Yeah.
You're a bad guy.
Yeah.
Why did you do that? I got mad at you when you did that. I'm like, can't you see?
Yeah, I know.
Your mother made that nice meal, and then you're like, Mom, I gotta go. I gotta meet my friends. And she just, the door shuts, and she's there with a lot of food, and she's alone.
I mean, to me,
fuck you, Rami.
I know. I mean,
sorry, but come on.
So many people, will say that to me, like, man, I fucking hate your character. But I think the most heartbreaking line in that, in that scene to me was, and the way she delivered it, she really made it even better than it had been written. But she was like, I think my Facebook's not working. Like, I haven't gotten any likes, and I was like, oh man, that's hard. Like that's always the hardest.
How do you
thing,
explain to someone? Yeah.
It's like, no, it's just,
you just didn't get any likes.
You just didn't get any likes. So like, and I think there's so much in that episode where like, and in those dynamics where it's like, man, everyone feels this thing for their mothers on a level, even when the relationships are complicated, where whether you feel it a lot or you see it in a glimpse, or you have a window of looking at your mother and being like, man, she gave up a lot.
Yeah.
She gave up a lot. And especially in a time where we crave our individuality and we crave our self-expression in this era, and then you're looking at that, a mother, and you go, wow, she put it all, she put it all to the side for us. And I think, again, that creates a little bit of the show. So much of it is about, obviously it's not just spiritual guilt. It's even that kind of guilt, that guilt that you can have, in just what was sacrificed for you. And I think in the design of also, making this character, and this because you walk, and it's different in a way because I made a fictional thing, but like, I think the level of self-deprecation that's in your humor and the way that things roll off of you is, I just have always felt like you present in a way where it's not this like look at me like kind of thing, and I think it's why you're one of the greats. And then when I was hugging you earlier, when you were kind of like, it was a bit of like a stronghold you had me in.
I wouldn't let go.
Chest.
I wouldn't let go.
Yeah, you wouldn't let go. And I felt it in that too, where I was like, yeah, this guy is like a real fucking dude. I love this. And I think in making the show, for me, I didn't want to make this character where I was like, oh, Rami the hero, look at him, he's just struggling. And I think sometimes I've gotten a little bit of the criticism that I go too far, but I like leaning into those more, lower self parts of me on screen, and I like leaning more into the like, I don't want you to think, oh, this is a hero, I'm rooting for him. I'd rather put my character in a position where he's dealing with his ego, and it feels a lot easier for me to live with. Like, I just don't even think I'd have fun making the show if it was just like, oh man, he tried his best but he's such a sweetheart, and like it would just, something about that rings false to what I like about comedy. Like, I'm like, comedy's where I get to be a little shit. Like I this is the part of me that like I have fun being a little fucking shit.
Yeah, and it's also, I think the life-saving thing for me in comedy has been, I was raised to be very, I'm supposed to be, polite. There's all these rules that you're supposed to follow, and I think I was a good rule follower. And then I found this world where you can act in the most insane manner, and it's part of your job, and everyone's like, good job. I'm like, what are you talking about? I totally, I screamed at Jordan Schlansky, this guy that works for us, or I threw him through a window, and they're like, I know, it was fantastic. It was great, great job.
I know.
And
but part of that, I think, is how you were raised, because it's like, just on a real base level, it's so clear that you're such a good boy. Like, it's so clear.
Yeah.
It's so clear. So this way you do that stuff, and then it's like, oh, I get the spirit that it's in.
Right.
And there is comedy I watch where I'm like, oh, this is just mean, and I don't like it. And I'm just like, oh, I don't care about this. Like, I'm not interested in this.
Right.
I think this person is mean. I think this person is just taking a shit on everybody. And then there's just something with the things I like where it's like you were raised to be, and I think it's so clear that you are, and that's why you're able to do all that stuff, and it's so funny.
Well, I hope so. Until someone says, no, wait a minute. I think he is an asshole. For me, watching your show, one of the things that I find myself drawn into and kind of attracted to is all the ritual that goes along with Muslim prayer. And I think, I was raised Catholic, very Catholic. I'm sort of drawn to this whole concept of everyone comes together at the mosque, and the rug and the praying and the ritual of it seems very calming and welcoming to me.
Yeah.
And I think that's because I grew up with, you're going to get in this pew. It's really hard wood. It's not comfortable. I mean, there's some things about it, like for example, in Catholicism, you can pray wherever you are.
Yes.
You can literally be in an elevator and just cross yourself and you're done.
Yeah.
Like so it's very user-friendly that way.
Totally. I mean,
I don't need a rug.
Yeah.
I don't need to know which direction is east or west. You know what I mean? There's nothing. They dumbed it down so much in Catholicism.
Well, we have two different. We have that kind of like, you can direct line anytime. You can just put your hands out. Like, you put your hands out. I'm making this little kind of V shape, and you can just ask God for anything that's anywhere. And then you also can pray anywhere, and you see that a lot in New York. There's just like a guy in the middle of the sidewalk praying, and just in everybody's way, but he'll do it.
Right.
There's people, I've seen people just straight up, and I actually had one of my dad's friends, this must have been like 2007, he'd just stop and pray anywhere, and a couple people called the cops on him. They're like, we don't know what's going on. We were with him, and we see two officers come, kind of just because he's praying in the middle of the park.
So what did they think? Did they think
They're
he
just
was,
yeah, they're
he had lost his mind, or he's having an episode?
Yeah, they're like, what's going on, you know? And then I think someone was afraid or whatever. But it's funny, like I was kind of wanting to get a cab. This was like a couple weeks ago, and there was this taxi cab pulled over, and the light was off, so it was available. But then, you know, I looked in, and there was a couple. They were like looking in. They were like, "This guy's gone crazy." And then I walk by and I look at him, and he's like praying on the steering wheel. Mm-hmm. But I could tell, like, with what he was doing with his head, like what point of the prayer he was in. And I was like, "Oh, he's almost done. Like, I'm about to get this cab." Like they went. It was a long block, and they just start walking towards Houston. I'm like, these people are gonna be sweating, and I'm like, you guys don't even understand. This is the last part of the prayer. He's gonna be done in 10 seconds. He finishes. He looks at me. I'm like, "Yo," and he hop right in. You know,
right. So
great.
Your knowledge, your deep understanding
of
the prayer cycle got you a cab.
Saved me from going on the subway. It was unbelievable. But yeah, the carpets are soft, so no hard wooden pews when you go in the mosque. And I think that the ritual is the most beautiful part of it to me. I think that's what people
the cleaning
want.
yourself too. I mean, I was not aware. There's so much I've learned from watching your show. And this is one of the things I really love about it. I learn a lot. The show is not, it's so far from preachy. It's so far from, trying to instruct.
Yeah.
It's about people. It's about people, really funny people, and a lot of awkward situations. And I know that you're a Larry David fan. It evokes some of the, in a great comparisons to just awkward, great comedy situations and humanity. It's just, in the program, in the show. I love the fact that I watch it, and when I come away, I feel I know not just your characters better, but I feel like I have a better understanding of what it might be like to be Egyptian, Muslim, and come here to the United States,
Yeah, well, I think like part of the design for us was making it clear that we're kind of giving people a window into some of those rituals, into some of the rules, into some of what's going on. And then the second we introduce that, we're making it really clear that everyone here is doing it wrong. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what makes it funny, where it's like, I'm going to show you the thing, but then also it's so clear that this is not instructive because, man, these people are dealing with their egos on level 10 and they're making a mess wherever they go. And I think that to me is what makes it a fun thing to make, because I never want to be in a situation where I need to feel like an educator or preachy or whatever, because all that shit's just like, it's anti-comedy. Yeah. But I do think what I've really enjoyed, in terms of looking at the history of comedy is I think the idea of a character going to church in and of itself is a joke. Like, it's a joke that someone would believe in the unseen. Mm-hmm. And I think here we've kind of flipped the joke where it's like, no, the unseen thing is a given. Like, that relationship isn't what we're making fun of. We're kind of making fun of everything that happens under it. And I think that has opened up situations that I feel get to be unique to our show, because we have this different machine as to like what we're interrogating. And I think, a lot of people have been like, dude, your show is my favorite show about Catholic guilt.
And then because it's all the same.
Yeah, it's guilt.
What's so funny to me is anyone who was raised in religion has these ideals that they're supposed to live up to, and then we all have the workarounds.
Yeah.
And that's the part that cracks me up, is all the characters in your show doing workarounds for, I don't drink, but I'm going to drink, or I'm not supposed to really have sex, but I'm going to have a lot of sex. But we're going to figure this out. We're going to work this out later. And I think that's every religion, is people, you're handed these lists of very severe rules early on, and you can have every intention of being down with that. But then you have your, we're going to work around that. But still, I am a devout Muslim.
Of course.
But I'm going to... It's Ramadan, but I'm going to eat. Yeah. I'm going to, because that's a Big Mac, and we'll figure this out later. You know what I mean?
It's this feeling of like constantly like refinancing with God, And I think that's really like,
that's a great way to put it. Yes. Yes, and it's just by the by the end, you're just terribly in debt. You're just, I think we're all doing that. We're all constantly saying, look, I'm going to just put this on my tab.
Yeah.
Just put this on my tab, God, and we'll figure this out, because I just had a ninesome. I had sex with 8 different people. I had a ninesome. And then I had a cocaine enema. But we're going to figure this out. So, because I love you, God, and trust me, I'm very devout.
We're going to figure this out that's the energy, for I think that's what keeps us all going.
I love it's something that fascinates me because I see it in Catholicism as well, the double standard with men and women, because it's something that I saw growing up where, Rami, you party, you go out with your friends and your parents think, oh, that Rami is just adorable. And then your sister, who's I think on the show, she's 25, 26, and this very attractive, modern woman. If she wants to do anything, it's where are you going? You have to be back by 9. And that exists. When I was growing up, I know my mom, like my brothers and I would be chewing gum. And she wouldn't say a word. And then if one of my sisters started chewing gum, she'd be like, spit that gum out.
Yeah.
You don't want people to think you're trash. You're not some common ragamuffin. That's how my mom spoke.
Gum chewing is very ragamuffin behavior.
It is.
Yeah.
And we won't have that.
Just to be clear.
There'll be no rag and muffery around here. So just work that into Rami. Wants one of the characters to start talking about, I'm no ragamuffin. And people say, the writing is off this year. What happened? And then you see the Conan O'Brien writing credit at the end.
Special cultural consultant.
Special cultural consultant. Please put me in as a special cultural consultant.
Done.
Yeah. Just in one of the prayers, there's many mentions of ragamuffin, tomfoolery, chicanery. People, I think they lost the thread this year. What happened? Did you watch to the end? I did. Did you see the Conan O'Brien cultural credit? That might be a problem.
No, but what you're talking about is amazing to me, because I think that is something that in making the show, so many people will relate to that thing, even that disparity between men and women, because obviously, and I think we see this more and more, especially lately, that's a real American problem as well. I think the way that in the microcosm of a family, how are the sons treated and how are the daughters treated? And it's something that I think we put on, this Muslim family. And I think that obviously there's some comfort in kind of this, like, I think there's an American comfort in being able to say, oh, wow, like, look how that is in the Middle East, because there's kind of all these things of like, oh, women there can't drive, and then you kind of start to break that down and you're like, well, no, that's only just in Saudi. And then you're like, oh, wait, well, in Saudi now women can drive, and abortion seems to be just about as hard in both places,
Right,
and then you start to kind of zoom out and you're like, whoa, we have a lot of these problems. And I think that's part of why the show resonates, because it's at first you're like, oh, I'm learning about this other thing, but then you dig into it and you're like, oh, wait, this is in my family too. This is here too. And I think that starts to kind of open up what I hope could be a bridge.
There you are, growing up in this family where nobody's in show business. All this stuff is funneling into you. When do you start to think to yourself, wait a minute, maybe I could do this?
I needed a little bit of freedom. And I just was talking about this with a friend recently. It felt like coming out, saying I wanted to go into comedy.
Right.
It was. I felt like I was hiding this really, really dirty secret. And I didn't want to acknowledge it. Like, I didn't, even when I was 10 and watching Conan, I was like, it was more than just being entertained. It was like, this is fulfilling me in a way that is deeper than what my sisters understand. And that is really unique. Or when you're watching the same movies as other kids, but you're honed in on the specific comedy part. Like, everybody else was watching some of the cartoons and stuff. Like, I remember Hercules. I didn't get that movie, but there was one funny part to me that I was like, the funny parts though, right, guys? And
Yeah.
like, no, Hercules is really cool. Listen to those ladies sing. And I was like, so. And then in college, because I went to art school, which let my freak flag fly a little bit. That's when I really got into it. And there was also just a comedy renaissance while I was in high school. It was when all the Apatow films were coming out. Like Anchorman had come out at that time. And that was a big deal to me, and I needed to introduce it to the rest of the school. So I became like the DVD hustler that was like, here's what you guys need to watch. Like, can I please have Movie Friday?
First viewing is free.
I kind of also missed that time of DVDs because it was like a special currency, like giving my DVDs to my friends and being specific about, you need to watch Anchorman, you need to watch Napoleon Dynamite. I got Juno for you. I got this for you.
Right.
And so then I understood that it was a taste thing and an appreciation.
You're like a sommelier, like saying,
Yes.
I think you're going to like this Pinot Noir.
Yes.
It's from the Piedmont region. I got you taken care of.
Literally. And
Yeah.
it was like a curation, which led to a deeper appreciation because then I started looking up, where are all these people coming from? If I'm like them, how did they all get together and get to be funny together? Because that's what I was lacking. I made my classmates laugh, but I was like, I'm not a clown, so I don't want to make you guys laugh in that way. Like, where do I go to, like, hone in on what I feel, which is a very deep artistic connection to this genre.
Mm-hmm.
And so it kind of led me to finding out about Second City. And then once I found out about Second City, that's when it was really a wrap. I had a boyfriend in Chicago at the time, and I was like, I'm going to come and stay with you. I'm going to sneak and go to this place called the Second City. And he was like, are you drugs, strip club? I was like, it's a comedy.
Don't tell
anyone. And he's like, okay, can we like have sex when you get here? I was like, sure, but I need to. Seriously, he was like, that was his main goal, was like, what?
Priorities, yeah.
Right. But I didn't tell my parents. I snuck on a plane. Oh my God. They still don't know how many times I actually snuck to Chicago. They just knew I did it once.
So you were not, because this is the interesting thing. Your mom, as we've established, elementary school teacher. Your
very
dad,
religious.
very religious. Your dad.
Yeah.
What does your dad do?
Oh, he managed parking lots.
Okay, so
yeah,
you're keeping this a secret.
Yeah.
At what point do you have to say to them, "I got some news for you"?
I never did.
They still don't know. They're not allowed to have a television. They can't watch any award shows because you keep winning awards.
Abbott was the first time my mom got it. I sent her the pilot to watch. And she was like, oh, so you're going to do this, huh? And I was like, yeah, I am. Mm-hmm. I'm going to do this. I'm not giving up. I'm not coming back to Philly because I'd done a couple of things, but she doesn't watch TV like that. So she didn't see, like I did Black Lady Sketch Show on HBO. I had done a couple of TV shows, like New Girl and stuff like that, but she wasn't tapped into her. It was still, okay, she's out there having fun. She's going to come back here and, become a teacher was her dream. Mm-hmm. And then she saw Abbott and was like, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
Hands off, do your thing. So that was kind of, so it was at 27. Took me a long time to kind of actually tell them that I was gonna. I never even told them. I was just like, look at this.
It's a major network sitcom.
Look at this thing I made.
It's not that hard. You just write and create and star in a show, and it wins every award it can possibly win. That's what happens to
Which
everybody.
was the importance of network TV to me, because I was doing everything else in the shadows. Like I had written for an Adult Swim show, voiced on an adult. Like that didn't mean anything to my mom and dad.
What about all the stuff you did, social media, all that? Didn't click
mean
with
anything.
Them. Yeah. I always think great comedy performers need to have, and I'm saying this because I've never liked my eyes. I think I just don't like my eyes. You have the greatest, your eyes are.
You really get me, dog.
What's that?
You really get me.
But it's, but what I'm saying is, you have, and all my favorite comics through history have these eyes that can do all the work for them. You have these beautiful eyes, but they're also great. They're so, I know, I keep doing, I don't know why.
We know what eyes are.
I'm showing you. I'm being, you know what I'm being?
It's so funny.
I'm being aspirational.
Yeah, it's like, It's not racist, but I'm like, it's like, is it offensive? I'm just trying to save you. I'm like, I don't know how this is going to be interpreted.
I don't think this is racist.
No, it's not. It's not. It's not.
This is just me trying to have normal eyes.
It's just
Instead
weird.
It's just weird.
Yeah, it's
weird.
just a weird thing to do. Yeah.
You know what I love?
I feel you, though.
Let's say this one thing. Conan O'Brien, not racist, but weird.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's always been clear.
Yeah, I think that's always been the case. Thank you. Thank you, though. I really appreciate that. And,
but you must know, I mean, you have a very beautiful face that's also very expressive. No, I'm serious.
I fucking love it here.
But don't you? I mean,
I agree.
jump in.
No, I definitely agree. I mean, but also you're being a little hard on yourself because your eyes, you use your eyes a lot throughout comedy. I think it's just
I do like beady, like shifty, side to side.
But you
stuff.
affect that change. You have nice eyes. You have very nice
your eyes.
I've always loved you.
Yeah.
Your eyes are gorgeous, and then also I can't do the things you just did with your face. Like you can do a impression of what's the old man, the one who always like hits your car if you're in his parking space.
Oh yeah, whatever.
What's his name? There's so much more to him than that, but that's the only story I can think of right now.
Is it fictional?
No, he's a real man, guys.
He hits people. He smashes people's cars. If you
come on, guys, he's the old man, and he's always like, he's always angry. He's in a bunch of westerns. He just put out a western. It wasn't.
Clint Eastwood?
Clint Eastwood.
Oh, okay,
you can do like a Clint
I love that your generation refers to Clint Eastwood as who's the angry old man.
You're wrong.
I just forget.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I just forgot all the rest of him real quick.
I love that. That is one of my favorite moments on the podcast. Who's that? Who's that old man that gets mad if you park in his spot?
I'm on the WB lot, and it's my constant fear that me or someone else will park in his spot. So that's what is my main, relationship.
This
to
is
him.
so funny because we worked on the WB lot.
Oh yeah.
And one of my writers, Dion Cole.
Yeah, love Dion Cole.
Dion Cole, we hired him as a writer, and then he became a performer on the show, and I adore him. We talked to him recently, and we were all remembering that he just didn't care. He would park anywhere he wanted on the lot.
And he drove a white Bentley.
He drove a white Bentley.
Dion?
Yeah, Dion. When he was a writer on my show, and I'm driving like a Nissan Cressida. And he was a writer, and he would roll in a Bentley.
That is so Chicago.
I know. Oh my God.
That is so funny.
It's so funny.
Wow.
So he would roll in, and people were like, "My God, Conan got a Bentley," and I'm like, "I don't have a Bentley." And it was Dion
parking.
I certainly don't have a white.
It was Bruce Willis. He parked in Bruce Willis's spot.
He parked in Bruce Willis's spot.
He parked in Bruce Willis, and you know what? They kept telling him, "You are banned from the lot," and he's like, and then he'd come in the next day and park in a different space, and I loved that.
That's
that was fantastic.
Hilarious.
So what I'm saying is, you can do what you want. No one's going to get mad at you. Park in any spot you want.
That wasn't the focus of this. The focus was you can do a Clint Eastwood impression. I can't, and also
because I'm old.
Well, because your eyes, because you can do that. I can't do that. I can't just. But also, I think people should have either big eyes or a big head. And I think when you don't have either, I don't really trust you comedically.
Yep.
I mean that.
I love that. That's
and you
true.
have the big head.
I have
and
the
that
biggest head.
Is what you have to have, one or the other. I'm serious. I feel really strongly about that. Ask my friends. I don't like when what's your deal? Why are you here? Especially
why are you in comedy?
Why
without
are you
a message?
Like I'm opening my eyes wider just to get your acceptance right now.
Yeah.
You have a good head.
You got a good
He's
head.
got a small head.
Yeah, your head's kind of small.
You could fit 6 of your heads in my head.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, that's no comment on my head size.
My
That's
head
just-
is a container for several of your heads.
Yes.
Yeah, you're the Russian nesting doll of heads.
What? No, I'm just poor baby. I don't know. But I didn't try to start. I started with a compliment and landed in a really crazy place.
No.
I just
That's
want
what
you to
happens
know.
here, and that's what we feel good when we feel bad. I don't know what that is all about.
That is weird.
You know what I can relate to about, which is you're one of 5, I'm one of 6.
Yes.
And so I come from a big family, and I've talked about this a lot, but we were like shoulder to shoulder. We were all born as close together as is biologically possible,
Mm-hmm.
and I swear to God that formed who I am.
What part are you in?
I share the middle with my sister Kate.
What do the rest of them do?
Murderers.
Murderers,
some lawyers and teachers. They're actually lawyers, teachers, and then some. Then there's like 1 or 2 murderers.
That's so interesting.
Yeah,
I've found that it's usually the youngest who winds up in entertainment or comedy.
Were you the youngest?
I'm the youngest. And what's my other concrete proof right now? Some friends you don't know, Nick Kroll.
Yeah, I know
He's
Nick
the
Kroll.
youngest.
Yeah.
And we've talked a lot about that because he's the youngest of like a bigger family. But yeah, I think being a part of a big family 100%. For me, a lot of the comedy trickled down from my parents' POV, which was old black and white shows, and then not just black and white, but whatever, Brady Bunch, shit like that. And then my sisters, who were very Conan friends, Martin, Living Color. So they were a wide spectrum. And then my brother under them. Well, then my oldest brother, who was in prison most of my life, but when he'd write me, you need to watch Kings of Comedy. Like, he would tell me what to watch. And then I had my brother closest to me, who was more of the stupid, like Ace Ventura, all of that kind of stuff.
Right.
All of it just funneled into me.
But you know what's interesting? My biggest thing, and I think it's the same thing with musicians, is they say a good musician should have big ears, meaning they're not snobs. They love classical music, but they also love R&B, but they'll also listen to rap, but they'll also listen to show tunes. They find there's good in everything.
Absolutely.
And I always felt that I got exposed to everything you're talking about, but also Saturday mornings they would show Bugs Bunny cartoons, Warner Brothers cartoons, which that's where I swear to God, I learned my timing.
Totally.
Because the timing is impeccable.
Yep.
And they were all made in the 1940s and 50s, and they're, beautifully, and they were made for adults. They weren't made for kids.
Yeah.
But the timing on a Roadrunner cartoon is perfect.
Yeah.
And you learn about pauses.
Yep.
And all that stuff.
Do you guys ever revisit anything and you see, oh shit, that's where I got my timing from, or where I got my I don't know, but that happens to me a lot now, watching old cartoons, old shows. He just passed away, but
Bob Newhart?
Yes. And so I revisited Newhart because I used to watch that, the one where he had the Airbnb, oh my God, the B&B.
Yeah.
And it's crazy how much Daryl has a lot to do. How that's in a brain fold of mine. And I was like, oh, this was so formative for me. And I didn't even know it. Oh, the Will Ferrell Jeopardy sketch.
Yes. Saturday Night Live.
There's like a specific one where I was like, damn, my whole cadence is kind of like,
but
ripped from that sketch.
But it's not. It's not. It's
Yeah.
impossible. There's no such thing. There's not one. I'm going to use the word artist.
You can say it.
But there's not one artist in history who's come from a vacuum. There's no such thing.
Even Ferrell and Newhart, they did the same thing.
No,
Absolutely.
and it's like, and it's interesting. I had the honor of being friendly with Bob Newhart, and he was so wonderful to me. And I could never understand how I could be in the same room with him. He'd come to my house, and I'd think, that's Bob Newhart over there. It's like, yeah, you invited him to your house.
I know, it's crazy.
And I'm saying that out loud, and he can hear me. It's weird.
Crazy.
But watching him and realizing it's the reactions. The reactions are the beautiful thing.
Hi, my name is Questlove.
I love that your name still cracks you up after all these years.
Being as though this podcast saved my life during the pandemic. I've heard every adjective used to describe how does one want to be friends with Conan. However, before I give the adjective, yes, I'm already going to break Jeff Goldblum's record.
Yes! Go for it!
But as a creator, and a creator that relies on an editor, I want to know who's the person that has to extend Jack White's padding foot.
Yeah.
So right now,
that's an added kick drum.
no, you're going to do the extended 12-inch.
I'm just going to loop it.
Wait.
You're going to hear Jack's foot get tired and slow down and lose the beat. Keep going, Jack.
Oh,
we got to get Questlove to the finish line.
Wait, by the time I got to the Goldblum episode, I was like, wait a minute, did he call up Jack to custom make extra feet? And then I realized it's only when I became a nightmare to my own editor that I realized that you're going to have to figure out how many measures of 4 are you going to end.
I'm just going to put a kick drum mallet on a metronome next to a kick drum and then go take a nap. Boom, boom, boom.
I love how we're talking how long it's going.
As it's going.
As it's going.
That's right.
Can we just do the entire podcast?
This is going to be.
Oh my God.
Go for it.
That's a first.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am. I had so many adjectives to use. I'm just gonna go simple, which of course none of this is simple. I'm fine with it. However,
all that for I'm fine with it?
Beautiful.
I'm fucking fine with it?
no, but this is the thing.
That's how I feel about a colonoscopy. Like, I'm fine with it. It gets the job done. I don't want it.
But here's the thing. I was initially chagrined and angered that you guys dared pitch me to do this podcast without Matt or Son. Like, literally, you're kind of like Charlie Brown. Like, not saying like you're not the star of your own Halloween special.
You want the full experience.
Yes.
And you want to make sure that
Yes.
Pigpen
Okay.
and the girl with red hair are there. I'm sorry.
Frida?
No, I think what he's saying is...
Wait, you're Frida? How do you demote over Frida? Wait, time out.
Frida?
I
Wait.
wanted to minimize them as much
Why
as
do
I
I
could.
have the red hair? Which one is she?
Because no one knows her name.
Which one's the one that always pushes? Is that Lucy?
Lucy.
That
Lucy.
always
Lucy
takes
Van
the
Pelt?
thing?
Yeah, you're very much Lucy to his, Charlie.
Yeah, she has a
am.
last name,
I am.
Lucy Van Pelt.
Oh my God! How do you know?
Well, because she is the brother of Linus Van Pelt.
That's right.
Oh,
Lucy Van Pelt. Yeah. I have a knack for attracting a lot of Lucy Van Pelts in my life.
oh.
Like proverbial football
Tugging.
bruiser.
Just real quick, are we still in the intro?
Yeah, I was
We
going to
are.
say. Okay,
we are.
all right.
All right.
Okay, I'm fine with it. And
Cue music.
yeah, cue music.
I'm sure.
All right, well, here's what I'll say. Let me clear something up right away.
Yes.
I go to New York occasionally, and when I'm in New York, we get whoever's available in New York. We've been wanting to talk to you for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
You were available, and then, and this was pitched through someone else, and then I hear, no, he really wants to do it with the whole gang. And I thought,
that's wonderful.
A, mistake.
No.
What?
But
No.
B, fine. I'm fine with that. I'm glad
I think what
you're
he's
here.
saying is you're excused today, Conan. And
Yeah.
we'll handle
We'll
this.
take it from here.
All right, I'll pipe down.
No, man, it's important. You know,
Yeah, you're fine with being here. with
I
me.
have so many questions for them,
Okay.
and you know, but
This is nice.
Well,
Yeah, I like this.
listen, this is when you're on this podcast, it's your podcast, so feel free to ask them anything you want.
but are we really going to be friends?
Yeah.
Okay, because the
Do you
one
want that?
I honestly want it. Yes.
Okay, I'm in.
So the transition week of you doing the last of late night
Yep.
before
Taking over the Tonight Show.
before we came in, we as in the Fallon people
Yep.
came to do it. You were like walking in the hallway and whatever, and instantly, you know, like when people feel like they know someone, sort of like a poster on the wall, whatever.
Yep,
Like
yep.
you don't know them, but they feel like they know you. And instantly, I was like, oh man, me and Conan are gonna get along famously. This is gonna be awesome. And then I turned a corner, even though I've been on your show maybe 3 to 4 times.
You've been on 3 times with the Roots.
Yeah. But I don't know why I never took into account that you're a giant. Or maybe because maybe I'm sitting behind a drum set.
Yep.
And I didn't take into account how tall you were. And plus, you know, that's when being on television was like really like a big deal. So I wasn't in my right mind. Now it's just like, okay, I'll show up. But I saw you walking down the hallway and instantly I just started to shrink like, oh no, he's too tall to be he's too tall to be my friend.
Oh.
You know what's so funny that you say that is, well, you've been with me, Sona. It's the only thing people talk about when I walk around.
Yeah.
I get that all the time, and people
Yeah.
act like I've lied to them. So when I go through like
It's
security
surprising.
checkpoints, people
Right.
are like, "Hey, man,
fuck you. I didn't know you were this tall. It's like, what did I do?
Well, because you have approachable energy. I'll say that you and leader who should not be named 45 are probably the two of the most.
Wow,
I'm glad you got that.
Where's this going?
You two have a commonality.
Oh no!
And it's not hair. It's not hair. It's your.
It's a little bit hair.
Both of you are tall. Like even he. I didn't know that he was tall.
How tall is he?
Yeah, he's a big guy.
He's like 6'4".
Is he really?
No.
Dude, his son, old boy, is like 6'8" already. He's like what, 12 years old?
Barron's huge.
No. But no, Trump is not 6'4". But the thing is, what's that?
6'3".
Yeah, and there's a big difference between 6'3" and
Okay.
6'4".
6'3" with fluff.
It's an incalculable difference.
When my afro's out, people think I'm like 6'3", 6'4". I'm like 6'2", maybe 6'1".
So wait a minute. You say, I'm just keeping track here. You're fine. Quote, fine with being my friend. And you liken me to Donald Trump in my approachability.
And Charlie Brown.
You know what it is? Okay.
We're going to wrap this up very soon.
Right. Trust me, the show's going to be... I told you guys. I'm warning you guys what you're in for. No, I'm pretty much going to be either the Trix Rabbit or the Cuckoo. What's the Cocoa Pebbles?
Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Sonny, that's it. He has a name? Wow, Van Pelt and Sonny.
Yeah.
Wait, how's his name Sonny?
I don't think the Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs... Was he had a name?
Sonny.
Because I know,
Yes,
because I take my
it is.
sugar cereals very
Yes.
That's insane that
Sonny.
you know that.
I don't know what to say. I'm not proud. It's the same thing. It just lives there like Van Pelt. I was just thinking the same thing when you
Van
said
Pelt
Lucy.
I respect. But knowing...
Excuse me.
I'm sorry, but you shouldn't know the name.
Do you know
No, it
Captain
is Sunday.
Crunch's little sidekicks?
Sure.
Smedley.
The Soggies.
Well, the side. Well, I know Smedley's the elephant.
Oh, yes, that's right. Yeah.
Well, Smedley was for Peanut Butter Crunch, wasn't he?
Maybe. And then Jim Backus did Captain's voice, right?
Okay, am I ruining this show by rabbit holing you guys?
No. And this is a good. And by the way, we're gonna play this for a neurologist later.
Yeah.
And we're gonna come back. We're gonna come back with your diagnosis, and then we're gonna get you on the right medicine.
Well, my whole point was that each cereal commercial starts the same. Like those guys try to be cool, calm, and collective about it, and then midway in the plot, then they lose their excitement, and suddenly you realize you have a crazy person on your hand.
Yes.
So that's exactly, which is why I ask you: Are these guys into microdosing at all or edibles? And
My answer was no. Right?
What? Your answer for yourself?
No, my answer was I'm into it.
Yeah.
You're not into it.
I'm square that way. Yes.
I burned myself out in my 30s. We talked about this on the way in today.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, next, all right, appearance number 4. I like the way that I'm already manifesting my. Like I want to be the Sandra Bernhardt to your Letterman. So
trust me.
Wait, and also, am I alienating your demographic?
Who cares?
With all these old ass references.
No. Let me quickly ask you: what is your go-to kid cereal?
I am peanut butter Captain Crunch all day.
It is fucking fantastic. That stuff. It is amazing.
Do you know about the history of cereal? Do you know why cereal was invented?
Was this the Kellogg Don't Masturbate stuff?
Yes.
Yes. I'm a little bit familiar with this story, but since you began, go ahead.
Oh, that's all I basically know.
Well, he was a 7-day. Kellogg's was a 7-day Adventist guy. He had a wife, and I guess even they slept in separate sleeping quarters.
Right.
They adopted their children.
Separate vaginas.
Yeah. Oh God, am I going to get canceled after this appearance?
No. You're being canceled during the appearance.
So what happens is, I guess he feels as though whatever's used to make beef, whatever drugs are injected in the cow or the pig, whatever, that it's making America closer to that of Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yep.
And so he figures that a vegetarian diet will cause us to stop procreating and fucking.
Yep.
And so he invents a tasty counterpart to stop us from masturbating, which is cornflakes. That's
Well, the original slogan for cornflakes was "Now with 30% less fucking." That's an actual. And it was, but it's true.
Can I work here?
Yes, you can work here.
Wait,
Take my job.
we were also in school the same time that Boys to Men are becoming Boys to Men.
Mm-hmm.
So it's literally like they're in the bathroom harmonizing, and they won every contest. They would like cheat and put like glitter in their hands and do something like that, and girls would be like, and I'm like, no, like Nate cheats in calculus class. Like, you're falling for that? Like, all I have to do is have some glitter in my hand and do that Michael Jackson 3-handed point thing.
Yep.
Do a bunch
Let
of
me tell you
that.
something. I did it for a while in my monologue on the late night show. Killed every time. It works in comedy too.
So we were, at that time, if you were an extra on a unmentionable Philadelphia comedy icons #1 rated show, you went to this school.
Right.
Every person who's a jazz god now went to this school. So we were like invisible. And even with the pedigree of like, yeah, I've been playing with my dad since I was 5 years old. My first gig was at Radio City. Like, first day of school, Miles Davis is in my school picking one of the kids to be his new keyboard player because one of his guys has a drug habit and has to go to rehab. So you'll fill in Joey DeFrancesco at the age of 16. Like, that's just how it was. So we graduated, and now it's like, well, okay, I guess I got to live my dad's dream and audition for Juilliard. So I auditioned for the new school and for Juilliard in around like 92. Tariq just, it's a free trip to New York, so he comes with me. We're on a train ride back home, and this is somewhere out of either a Grey Poupon commercial or that last scene in Dumb and Dumber. The world's most beautiful woman. It's always a beautiful woman behind this thing. And it's a slow motion walk.
Yep.
To me. Now, here's the thing. The previous year is when Boys to Men started to blow up. They came out the box with a single called Motown Philly. And of course, they're, calling up their high school friends, hey, be in the video, whatever. So they asked me to play drums in that video. So, I milked those 1.9 seconds. Wait, let me rephrase it. Tariq milked those 1.9 seconds because literally, like, after the video became like heavy rotation on MTV, we'd be ready to go out for whatever, and he'd just look at me like, what are you doing? And I'm like, what? He's like, come on, man, put the shirt on. I was like, come on, dude.
Oh, put the same shirt? Oh. Yes.
That entire summer, I had to dress in the exact outfit that I... Yo,
the way you did.
The way your staff is...
No, it's true. I'd have had a T-shirt made that would say, or I'd wear a hat that say, yes, I'm that guy from 1 minute, 32 seconds.
The entire summer of 1991, I'd have to put on the hoodie, that dingy-ass T-shirt, those Oshkosh Bagosh thing, and walk up and down South Street. We would do like 9 rotations. And, wait, ain't you there? Oh my God. And Tariq would take their numbers down and everything. And that's literally like our social, the way your staff is holding their hearts right now. Yep. I feel like such a dweeb. Anyway.
Not at all.
Anyway, so it's a year later, and nothing is more painful than the slow, dim fade of like, Al Bundy's always bragging about those like 4 touchdowns at Polk High. Like, I didn't want to become that guy, but suddenly I noticed like, oh, the magic's not working anymore. Like, it's not working.
There's no glitter in my hand anymore.
Right. So the world's most beautiful woman walks up to me and Tariq, and she's like, you're the drummer in the Spike Lee Levi's commercial, right? Now, there was a guy, there's a bucket drummer, the guy that pioneered the idea of when you see street musicians bucket drumming. His name is Chockley. He's from DC. He moved to New York, and he was, playing buckets and whatnot. And Spike Lee saw him and put him in a Levi's. So now he's the new drummer of the moment. Like, he's in the Mariah Carey video, and I'm a little jealous. Like, oh, damn.
You're like, those are buckets.
I got to find a new So she's like, "Are you the drummer in the Spike Lee Levi's commercial?" And I was like, "No, I'm not."
That's where you and I are different.
I'd
have said, yes, I am.
And you are Black Thought of the Roots. And just,
I am Tariq.
And just like that commercial in Dumb and Dumber, she's like, "Oh, okay." And she walks back and got off the next stop, and Tariq was just like, I felt the "you asshole,"
idiot.
He kept riding the whole time, calling up people. And next day, we crash at my parents' crib, living room. Next day, Soul Train's on. The commercial's on, and then that becomes like our Doc Brown flex capacitor sitcom sort of like.
You look at each other and
why don't we do that?
Yes.
Like literally, that commercial came on. It's like, well, why don't we do that? And literally an hour later, like we're and grabbing buckets and everything, sneaking out. And we went on South Street. If we didn't make $120, then it would have been a one-time only thing. But in like 2 hours, like we're rich. And our whole thing was like 60 for you, 60 for me. This is date night money. You can buy a quarter pound of turkey, some bread, steal some condiment packages, and that's a date. You know, make your own sandwich. Yes, we go to like the park or whatever, and here have some lunch meat.
Oh my god,
that line never worked for me.
It's the way you say it.
How'd you like some lunch meat?
No.
It never worked.
It's the way he's right.
If you're from Philadelphia, if you're from the tri-state, Wawa is a religion. So for $5, you can buy like a half gallon of lemonade, a whole bunch of turkey meat, some pepper jack cheese, some bread, and still the condiments. And
okay, I'm writing this down.
Right.
Me now at my age. Yeah. Excuse me there, young lady. Questlove has given me the following list, and I have all these items.
Right. So you would do that. No, and that was like romantic. And movies were cheap back then. If you see it before 6 p.m., you can see the matinee for like, whatever, $2.50. Sure. That was date night money. So we were like, hell yeah, we're doing this again. Told my friend about it the next week, and he's a bass player in my jazz class, and he's like, well, you guys are going to do it again? I was like, yeah. He's like, well, can I join you guys? Sure. Now, he drives. I didn't drive. He drives with the station wagon, his dad's station wagon. He shows up, and he has his upright bass in the back, and I'm getting my buckets. He's like, well, dude, I got the station wagon, so get your real drums. And I was like, oh, man, my dad will kill me. I can't do that. He's like, well, he's not home. I said, yeah, you're right. So I snuck, very stealth operation of loading my drums in the station wagon, and that's literally how the Roots were born. The basic story of the Roots is that, right out of high school, we started busking on street corners, like around 91, 92.
You're playing like buckets, right?
Literally the fastest version of this like 9-hour story is, my dad wanted me to go to either Curtis Institute. If you've seen, she just got nominated for Best Actress, Cate Blanchett in Tar.
Oh, Tar, yeah.
So the institute that built that woman, that's what my dad wanted for me. Good choice. Yeah, Curtis Institute is one like the most hardest, difficult musical.
Can I jump in 1 second and just say this is interesting to me because your dad famously is part of this doo-wop band.
Yeah, my dad was like a Philadelphia doo-wop legend back in the 50s.
Lee Anders and the Hearts,
right.
and killer doo-wop band. And it's interesting to me that your dad is pushing you towards this classical thing when he's from doo-wop.
Okay, here's the thing about black people. Especially with traumatized black people. We will always, because we're in a constant fight or flight situation, we're always going to choose safety first.
Right.
So in his mind, it was like, if you join sort of like an institution that's like classical music, we're also big on like respectable politics, like, wear a suit and tie, that sort of thing. Then you'll get a good job. So in his mind, like, hey, you one day you too can make maybe $250,000 and that sort of thing. And in my mind, I'm like, well, wait a minute. I want to be the guy that owns the stadium that acts playing. Like, why are you dreaming so small for me and not for myself? So that's a whole nother story.
I get that, though. They worry about us. They do.
Yeah, and dude, I grew up in the crack 80s where literally every 3 seconds someone's dying. So it's also a Russian roulette game that my future was written. So that said, he wanted me to go to either Juilliard or Curtis. And so I trained as such. For the first 6 years of my life, I went to one performing arts school, and then they took me out during like middle school to early high school to go to this this college prep thing that would have instantly made me like Harvard material. See, we could have been friends there or whatever. So
I didn't have friends there.
And that's the episode.
We're all laughing.
Well.
We're all laughing at you.
Look, wherever Charlie Brown goes, he's still fucking Charlie Brown. But anyway, yeah.
Anyway, so I saw this as an opportunity because I didn't want to go to the college prep school.
Right.
Even though I've been playing professionally with my father since I was a kid. My first gig was at Radio City Music Hall, like at the age of 12.
And I know this story because his drummer like hurt his arm.
Motorcycle accident.
Yeah, and your dad said, "Hey, kid, get up there."
The show, right?
Yeah, and you were like, "All right," and it's Radio City Music Hall,
right?
Which is incredible.
Well, I knew the show I wasn't nervous at all, but the sort of anecdote to that is that the second I got off stage, I wasn't and I'm band leading like adults, and I'm 12 years old,
right?
And I'm band leading, but I could play like adult since I was 5. I get off stage and I walk backstage. And this black woman says, "Oh my God, young man, that was awesome. That was great." And I was like, "Oh God." I said, "You're Susan from Sesame Street." Oh. She's like, "Indeed I am. My husband was playing keyboards." And I was like, and I threw him backstage.
Those Sesame Street people got that a lot.
I would do that now if I saw someone from Sesame Street.
Yeah.
I'd throw up.
Hey, Sona, think of all the amazing things in life that are expressions of just you.
Yeah.
I mean, like the chocolate that you had on your face when you came in because you just ate that. What was it you were eating?
I was eating a giant cookie.
Giant cookie.
Yeah.
And that's so Sona.
Okay.
Or that song you stream over and over again. That's just so you. What's that song for you?
Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star.
Yeah.
But it's for my boys, not
I know.
me.
Still, it's nice.
Okay.
Or, that podcast, that comedy podcast you just got to listen to.
Yeah, Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend.
Exactly. Is that what you listen to in your spare time?
Yeah.
I love it. Everything that makes you makes all the difference. State Farm believes insurance should work the same way. Your plan, your coverage selections can be personalized by you and only you.
Cool.
I shouldn't shout, but this is how strongly I feel about it.
You got so aggressive.
The ability to choose the plan you want by picking the options that fit you, like choosing to bundle your home and auto policies, is what the State Farm Personal Price Plan is all about. Getting the coverage you want at an affordable price just for you. Call or go to statefarm.com today to create your State Farm Personal Price Plan. Prices vary by state. Options selected by customers. Availability and eligibility may vary.
I told my parents, I want to play with musicians my own age, and I want to go to this school, which to them, to tell your parents you want to go to a public school and that sort of thing after they've done invested in the best education to get you in this institution. It was a Hail Mary throw, but they fell for it, and the plan was that I was going to find that girl for my best friend at our old school so that she could be his date for the junior prom. And
you're a good friend.
I was a great friend.
Yeah.
And so I found out, I still don't know why a high school student would occasionally work in the office. Like, I don't know how that works, but it was her job to hand out school tokens. We would get like free bus tokens to get back because we didn't have like a school bus system.
Right.
I was standing in line for school tokens, and in front of me was kind of like a Dreamweaver moment, like with the prettiest girl in school, like another girl, totally unrelated, was talking about music, which instantly, like, my ears were pricked, and she made a wrong Prince reference. And I'm the human version of hashtag, well, actually.
Oh, no.
You remember on the Smurfs when Brainy would say, well, actually, and then seconds later, they tossed him in the trash can.
Yes.
I was that guy. I was like, well, actually, that was a B-side, a Japanese import B-side, which is longer than the album version.
You're Linus.
Right. And so, like, the four girls just looked at me like, no one asked you.
Yeah.
And I was just trying my hardest to, like, impress them with anything. That probably maybe 2 months later, I interjected myself again in a conversation I shouldn't have, and I said, well, no, it was that song because, you know, we sampled that last night. And they were like, sample where? I was, at the studio. And it's like, who? I said, me and my group. Who's in your group? And literally, the way that Tariq and I met, like, it's somewhere between, like, A Tale of Two Cities and...
Yeah. Can I just say something? This is a common sitcom plot.
Yeah.
This is a sitcom plot of, I got to impress the girl, you're chatting, you get in over your head, you
Right.
say, my group, your group? Yeah. We're in the studio. We want to see you play. Sure, next week. And then you run down the hall. Guys, we got to form a band.
That is literally...
Oh, my God.
That is literally how I'm in this chair right now. So, now the thing was, Tariq really had an insane gift for talking off the top of his head.
Uh-huh.
So I knew that he had a gift for doing that, and he just happened to walk by, and I was like, oh, with him. So then I went to the next 2 periods of class, like in orchestra, and somewhere in orchestra class, I thought about it. I said, nah, I gotta warn him. So I'm in the basement. Put like Flight of the Bumblebee in here, like, and the lunchroom is on the 8th floor. I'm in the basement, so literally, oh, sorry, lady, excuse me, like,
Watch it there. We're 2 guys carrying a plate of glass,
right,
A giant wedding cake.
and you missed it, and then someone else walked through it.
and I ran to the cafeteria, and I was like, yeah, if anyone asks. We're a group. And he was literally cool. Okay. And that is how the Roots were born.
That's fantastic.